All right, we are live. This is session 20 of Storm King's Thunder. We have titled this one The Frost King. Last we left off, the party was in the middle of a massive frost giant fight. Hold on a second, I left my YouTube on here so now I can hear my voice. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, we last left off with the party dealing with the Jarl Strolvad in the Frost Giant's haven called Svardberg. They were convinced by a wizard named Nilran that they needed to stay and sabotage the Frost Giants, for if they didn't, escape would not be easy, and the vengeance that the Frost Giants would reap on the rest of the world would be devastating. So, playing at the heartstrings of our more noble party members, they were convinced with Cyric to go and fight, and the fight broke out, and all hell broke loose as they freed the dragon Cryovane, and the fight broke out and was presumably going their way for a bit until the Jarl was alerted. And when the Jarl was alerted, he alerted the rest of the camp, pouring out from one of the giants' lodges in this massive donut-shaped iceberg that is hundreds of feet high, and they're kind of fighting in the center of it with this lake in between them. A mass amount of frost giants poured out and kind of swallowed up Cryovane and quickly, presumably, turned the tides. Not before Sunlit, our monk, was able to light the Krigvin on fire. And that is where we start. The wind is cold. The sounds of battle are still echoing as the barbarian tribes of the Tiger Clan are fighting with Nurth and Broshen. You see Cryovane letting out roars of fury as his wingspan comes to the ground, and 18 frost giants pile out on him, trying to surround him. Sunlit is jumping out of the bottom of the Krigvin, and as she does so, a big plume of explosion flies out from her alcoholic Molotov makeshift cocktail. The Jarl, looking furious at this, speaks in Giant to finish off these puny weaklings. And at the top of the initiative, Bjornhild, the barbarian leader, female queen of the Tiger tribe, calls out to her 12 remaining barbarian tribesmen to fall back on the party. At that point, they're the next up in line, and fighting with Nurth and Broshen, they do fall back. They're clearly outmatched with just 12 of them. 12 tribesmen versus two frost giants is a bit much, and with the Jarl sitting in his lodge above them, about 40 feet in the air, kind of looking out on a balcony into the lake, and sees Sunlit jumping out of the ship, or jumping to the deck of the ship. Livy is firing off pesky bolts from Maiden's Garden. We see the tribesmen fall back towards the party, kind of reconvening with you, and that puts up in the initiative, actually, Sunlit, as Dan just dropped out, but that's okay. That's actually funny, because I think Morgan had to drop out too, so it might just be you and Livy, Corey.
Nope, I'm here. I'm just eating. I didn't want people to see me eating.
My bad.
No, I'm here, man. All right. So remind us of how we're doing this battle here.
Okay, so now, here goes my fantasy grounds crashing. With the NPCs, we'll remember that last session, it got pretty clunky with this many people. This is like a 50-person battle. It's borderline of war. And last session, it began to feel like a bit of a war game to me, and really was like you guys watching me fight myself. So we have these new NPC actions that if you go to your notes section in Fantasy Grounds and look up the page NPC actions, or NPC special actions, you can call upon as a free action anytime any of your NPC buddies. And then other than that, I'm going to share it to you guys, so it should pop up roughly right now. Other than that, the fight's going to go presumably the same as any other fight would go. I've just kind of clumped together big hordes of guys, and now I'm no longer controlling the NPCs. I'll just be describing thematically what they're doing, and it's up to you guys. Actually, you can even describe thematically using their abilities, how they're helping you, if that makes sense. They still have HP and they can still get hit, but in terms of, you're not going to have to sit there and watch me roll like 4 dice as I attack for the NPCs on the party side.
Very good. That's also what I remember you kind of saying. So, but I also thought it'd be good for anybody that watches to know what we're doing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. So, little Miss Kitty has got herself out of the boat. She's where?
So
is she back on land, or is she?
You're still kind of on the boat. So the boat behind you. Keep in mind that this is like a giant-sized great ship, and it's one of the most impressive great ships that the Giants have ever made. So you come out on deck, and it's flaming from below, but it still takes like borderline a normal person's full movement to get from the middle of the deck to like the side of the boat. So like I believe you used up most of your movement. She's not a normal person.
But she's not a normal person when it comes to movement.
Yes, exactly. So obviously you're pretty quick, but you're still on the boat itself, and it's starting to burn behind you. In terms of what's around you, you're kind of like in this like little makeshift lake inside the center of this giant fortress. Looking up, you see that the mountain kind of peaks above, and to your south is another one of the great ships that aren't nearly as impressive, and you could basically probably, being as athletic and nimble as you are, jump from one to the other, which is how you made it over here. Other than that, you're pretty much either jumping to that ship or swimming somewhere, which isn't necessarily your favorite thing.
Yeah, she's definitely not doing that. Even though she does have a resistance to cold right now. Interesting. Okay. And there's just a sea of frost giants that she sees.
So to your west is, out of one of the massive giant hunting lodges, you see 18 frost giants piling out and trying to like engage with Cryovan, the adult white dragon that is temporarily on your side, helping out because they slayed, to his knowledge, they slayed his sister.
Right. Which is not a lie. So, all right. So what she's going to do is she's going to use that insane speed that she has, and I'm going to. I want to sink that boat.
How you sink it, Miss Kitty?
Yeah, I know, but I think if I sink the boat, that it may make a major distraction for.
And are you talking about sinking the main ship, the Krigvin, or are you going to try to sink one of the main ship? All right, so yeah, what do you got planned? It's obviously no easy task. Even lighting this ship on fire presumably hasn't put it out of commission. So it's up to you what you want to try to do to maybe further injure this or wreck this ship.
All right, so she, last game I remember that she was able to kind of take a look around the ship. She found that cache of explosives, cache of explosives, sorry, that she lit on fire, which is now setting the boat on fire. But this is what, a third of the boat that is impacted by this?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So what you got?
Anything else? Yeah, she doesn't have anything else to be able to do that. So I guess, if the boat catches fully on fire, at least half on fire, it'll probably sink. Yeah, so she makes her way. She jumps from the boat that she's on onto the vessel that's there. Now, we dropped the one giant. Is that correct?
You actually dropped. You dropped 2 giants. Basically the 2 guards. Or no, yeah,
Yes.
you're right. Sorry, you dropped one, and then the other one made it back to the giant lodge, which was to the west, and
Right.
he was able to get reinforcements. Now the Jarl is to
Yeah.
your south, sitting in his Jarl's lodge, looking over from the balcony, and just in front of him is like obviously the ledge, which kind of like circles around this lake that you find yourself off, and there's one more ship. And then to your north is another ship that's basically entombed in ice, and you know that the barbarians have been
Yeah.
enslaved and are trying to free it.
They're
But
trying to free that one.
yeah,
Can you put up the map?
Yep, I'm screen sharing it right now, but I can share it to you on Fantasy Grounds also.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Obviously, the Krigvin's not there. I don't have a token for it, but it's basically like
absolutely.
right in the middle
Okay,
where that
yeah.
circle is.
Yep. All right, so she'd come off and she'd be over here on the right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to make this turn forever. It's just a lot
I'm gonna hit you with the timer soon.
Yeah, no. So what she's gonna do is she's gonna come off the Krigvin, jump over onto the boat here on the right side, and come over here on the land and go to her buddy, who's not really her buddy, and make sure that he's okay.
And your buddy, who's not really your buddy, is you're referring to Warrendale?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Warrendale, you're actually up next in combat. So how is Warrendale doing? Sorry, you're not going to so easily jump from one ship to the other. Give me an athletic check to see how this jump goes and kind of the heat of battle. It's still like for you like a borderline a 30-foot jump or maybe like a 20-foot jump. I'm not sure what kind of leap you have, but I know you're pretty agile. Yeah. You should be able to make it.
Yeah, no worries at all. I was acroing last time. That's fine, right?
What's that?
Can I acro it?
Yep, you can acrobatics, definitely. I'll give it to you. Whew!
Oh, no.
So you leap across.
I think that was bad.
10 was actually your DC for you, but somehow you slip on the ice, and basically instead of making it across, you have to like claw into the side of the boat, and now you kind of end your turn, I guess, unless you have any bonus action or anything. That's basically your movement, I'm going to say, as you're kind of like clawed into the side of the boat. If you want to use more of your movement, you can basically fall in to the water and swim, but in terms of like it's going to take a great amount of effort to pull yourself up probably next turn. Does that make sense, since it kind of took so long to get to this point?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so she's just kind of clawed onto the side of the boat and she's hanging on it, and yeah, I do plan on climbing up next turn.
Yep. So Warrendale, you see Sunlit come out of the Krigvin, flames bursting behind her dramatically, and she kind of like strides up and does this running jump, and as she kind of looks dynamic in the air, dramatic, she slips at the last moment and then doesn't quite make the jump, and you hear a thud into the side of the boat, claws there. You're standing, I guess, pretty near, or also in this other great ship. What do you want to do on your turn, Warren?
Can you give me a rehab? I know I got hurt last one. Was there somebody next to me, or I don't remember exactly what happened and what's around me?
Right. So what happened is, if you remember correctly, there was originally a giant guard on this ship that you now find yourself on. And you guys were trying to stealth, and you completely botched your stealth, and you got grabbed by him, and he started to squeeze the life out of you, and that's when the fight actually began. The troop and like all the barbarians and everything managed to take this one giant down, and he lays dead over on like the kind of ledge, the icy ledge outside where the boat is docked to. You're on the smaller great ship now, and smaller is only a relative term in the grand scheme of giant boats, but you see there, and you kind of hear Sunlit thud into the side of the boat. Again, to your south is the Jarl, which Livy is taking pop shots at with her new crossbow. You see Octavios kind of, he's over on the cliffside with the barbarians. That's where they've kind of like fall back on, is they fell back on Octavios, who's kind of been like buffing and providing the support to the combat in that way.
Everybody.
And then, yeah, other than that, to your west is the Frost Giant versus Dragon mess.
Gotcha. All right. And one more question, I promise. That's it.
How
far away is, like, are these squares? How far away is the Jarl from me? I'm trying to get an idea for my spells for the ranges.
So, yeah, don't fully worry about the map too much. Like, we're not playing by grid, but in the grand scheme of things, I think these tiny squares are 10 feet each. So this is a pretty big map. It might even be 20, but I'm not super worried about it. Just picture that everything here is giant size, right? So, like, you're honestly the smallest fleck on this ship in comparison to what a normal map would be. Everything is giant size. So the boat itself is giant size. All the furnishing and everything is giant size.
Okay. I'm going to assume that they'd probably be within, because most of my spells are 90 feet or 120 feet.
I muted myself, sorry. I would say 120 feet. You could definitely reach the Jarl if you wanted to. Moving, like using your movement and kind of like getting to the limit of your range. But 90 feet, probably pushing it.
Okay. That'll give me a reference for all my spells then at least. Okay. Seeing my kitty friend over on the side there, I'm going to run over and give her a hand to get her back up onto the ship. That way she doesn't have to waste time.
All right, so
climb up the side. So yeah, I'm just going to run over. I'll reach down, probably with one of these large ropes or something they got over there and kind of throw it over, try and help her up the side of the ship so that she can get off there and maybe actually do something for us.
Yep. So yeah, if you want to spend your action doing that, because then you can just help her up and she could have a free turn, or she doesn't
exactly.
Have to yep. All right, so you throw the rope overboard, and Sunlit, kind of looking a bit nervous that she might fall in this frigid water, quickly grabs onto the rope and is able to pull herself up because of you. Any bonus action or any further movement you want to do?
No, I'll hold on to my movement. Unless she moves, I'm going to kind of stay close to her, but I'm not moving out of range of her now.
Okay, and as that goes, you see the dragon in terms of like what it's doing in game. It's using a legendary action, but you see now that the frost giants have kind of all surrounded it, and it lets out one of its powerful tail whip attacks. This massive white, scaly, spiked tail kind of swings into a line of them, knocking over. And then up next is the first kind of pack of frost giants. And in terms of what I'm doing so you guys know in game, one pack of frost giants is 6 giants, and there's currently 3 packs. So when you hear me say 6, that means that, or when you hear me say pack, that means that 6 frost giants to a pack. And this first pack is going to jump up and picks itself up from being knocked over by Krigvin, and they quickly grab their axes and weapons and start like hammering and cutting into this dragon. A couple of the attacks the dragon manages to defend itself against, but obviously with that many, 18 of them on it, it's pretty helpless. Octavios, you're up next as you see Nirth and Broshin basically rallying and starting to charge in. They were the kind of frost giants that you made a temporary allegiance with, but now kind of being cast out by you guys. You thought that you were going to flee and told them to handle their own stuff. They now are completely feared by the Jarl and don't want to basically break face in front of the Jarl. So they're kind of standing there, and you hear the Jarl yell out in giant, "What are you idiots doing? Go and fight them!" And then they kind of start to charge in after the barbarians, and they basically jump from one side to the other, this little like ravine / cleft, and meet you on the dry dock, which is where you currently are. And you're up next, Octavios.
Yeah, Octavius would just look at Nerf and Broshan and be like, in pain. He would look hurt, and he would try to do his best to convince them that Jarl Nerf, Jarl Broshan, this is your time. You must fight with us and stop this crap. At least help us all get away. You can come with us and we'll regroup. Let's go. And he would yell to everybody that it's time to go. And I believe last game we ended up having a plan for our retreat. So we'll try to enact that plan.
All right, so you're falling back. And as you call out to Nerth and Broshin, you get the sense that you're kind of the time is done now. You have a feeling that looking at the battle, they pretty much feel that you're definitely the losing side. So they're not gonna break face in front of the Jarl now. He's a pretty intimidating frost giant. Like frost giants are already terrifying as they are, and this guy with his long, icy white beard and his stone cold face with scars across it and the skull of a dragon on his head, this massive great axe that he wields. You have a feeling that these 2 giants aren't going to break face in front of him and betray the Jarl now that the tides are turning against your squad. So you are basically met up with the barbarians, and Bjornhild, the queen barbarian leader, asks you what the plan is. My men and women are dying. Where are we going?
We need to get to the boats. We have a friend there at the outside docks waiting for us with 2 long ships, I believe.
All right.
We need to make it to the boats.
We must go now. The Krigvind is the Krigvind is on fire. This is our chance, Bjornhild says to you. And she'll follow you as you presumably start leading towards the docks, kind of yelling out. You have to do it at the top of your voice to get everyone to hear you. Cryovan, being up next, lets out this absolutely horrifying roar of fury, and it uses its frightful presence, which manages to actually intimidate even the pack of giants that are in the favor of the battle. When they hear Cryovan yell out that they will pay for the death of her sister, speaking in Draconic and just absolutely furious, you see that a few of them question whether or not they can actually take this dragon. And that actually slows down the attacks of the next pack, who actually have these nets, and they were going to start netting or trying to like throw their massive giant nets over top of the dragon. But now, questioning whether that's a good idea, one of the giants steps forth and throws it on Cryovan. But the net is, even it being giant sized, not big enough to basically capture a dragon. And Cryovan is easily able to shake it off, following it up with another one of its tail attacks as a legendary action. Nonetheless, though, blows are being traded back and forth on both sides. Cryovan is starting to sustain some injuries, and on his turn, after the frightful presence goes off, he powerfully pushes off Wingspan, kind of blowing the snow, drifting it up, and kind of momentarily causing this plume of snow around the giants. And he flies up into the air, taking this moment of fright as his opportunity. And he falls back and quickly, powerfully thrusts himself like a jet over towards your great ship, Sunlit. Before getting there, though, he does take the opportunity to do a powerful claw attack along the main mast of the Krigvin. And he's going to quickly roll an attack against the ship. Give me a second here. This is one guy that I'll actually kind of make sure I do the rolls for. I'm currently using a mixture of handling mob rules from the DMG and some makeshift rules of my own. But Cryovan, I will definitely attack for, and 2 powerful claw attacks slam against the main mast of this massive warship. And with the power of the dragon, he is able to crack it, and then flying by, he kind of cracks his wing, or tucks his wings and lands next to the ship beside you, Sunlit, and you, Warrendell. And he says, "You must help me find my children. The Jarl has my eggs. And then we will flee."
Your sister said they're in that, I believe they're in that lodge.
Yeah.
Come with me. We'll get the eggs and then we'll get out of here.
Do you mean we should ride you?
Fuck no.
You distract the other. Go around the back.
I'll never be disgraced by having you ride me. I'm a powerful ancient adult red dragon. I am Cryovan. I am the winter.
Right.
Next up is Livy. As you see Cryovan land beside Sunlit and Warrendell and is talking to them, you obviously see the rest of the horde of frost giants readying to re-engage with him, but they're on basically the opposite side of this massive lake, and they're all like running towards the coastline. You see that the Jarl, who's not up yet but momentarily going to act, is looking from the perch of his lodge up in the balcony, and he's just yelling to squash these intruders, these disgusting, puny weaklings. He's speaking in Giant, which I can't remember if you know or not, but those who speak Giant obviously hear this going down.
There's
and
lots of yelling.
Yeah, it doesn't sound friendly. The moral of the story is he's not giving you guys compliments.
It's all good. She's still aimed pretty well. I have imagined that she's heard or kind of sees the body language of Tavios instructing the barbarians and for kind of retreat. Likely is noted Warrendale and Sunny and the dragon and whatnot. And actually, she was getting ready to tell Bellador to target the unit that was facing the dragon. The dragon's since gone away, so she's gonna try and see if Bellador is within shouting distance to target the Jarl in the hopes that maybe she can trip him. But she's gonna pop off a few more shots.
Yeah, so you can definitely use Belladora's special action called the Heavy Giant Bow, which is a specialized bow that she uses that specializes in tripping up giants. Now, the Jarl being a kind of special boss type unit, he still gets to make a save against this. So if you want her to do that, she will fire it. He's up on top of his balcony, so maybe there's a chance that she'll be able to knock him over if she does hit. But it's a pretty tricky shot. So it's up to you if you want to invoke that ability. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Then the Frost Giant will make his save. Being that it is so far and basically out of her regular range, he is going to have advantage, but Frost Giants aren't known for being the most dexterous of people, even the Jarl himself. Unfortunately, though, I rolled a natural 19. So the crossbow fires off, and the Jarl doesn't even really take it that serious, but then when he sees it coming, it kind of powerfully slams into his balcony, breaking part of the wood that he is leaning on, and it momentarily almost starts to wrap around his leg, but he kicks it away and looks furious at this feeble attempt to trap him.
It's all good because she's 13. So I got 23 here and then a 22 with my 13 plus. No.
Yep. So Jarl is 15 AC. He's just wearing normal kind of patchworked armor.
So yeah, pops off 2 shots. The other roll for whatever reason didn't show up again.
Okay. I'll trust you.
There is 8 fire and that was a 6 plus 5, so 11 for a total of 19 fire damage.
Okay. And 2 more of the bolts from Maiden's Garden sail across the Frost Giant's lake, landing into his... Go ahead.
She'll work on retreating back a little bit too, trying to keep with Tavios and the barbarians.
So it seems like everyone's kind of making their way up the rickety dry dock, which kind of is tapering stairs, zigzagging all the way up this kind of cliffside down towards the southeast. And they're climbing up the ledge and trying to get into the dry docks, which leads across to the cliffside where the actual giant docks are. And your plan is to get away on the giants' canoes, which they call punts. But being giant size are able to obviously hold quite a few of you. So that's the plan. And Harshnag is apparently somewhere raiding around there. So you fire off a couple quick shots. They land into the Jarl as the fire kind of burns away at parts of his patchwork armor. He doesn't really seem that fazed by it even still. And the final pack of giants readies to pick up some rocks. They can't really cross the giant lake. They know that swimming isn't necessarily going to be the quickest way to get to you. So this pack starts to grab rocks and huck in Cryovane's direction. But Sunlit, Cryovane is right next to you, and a rock is plummeting at a rapid speed. You've had this happen to you before. It's absolutely tearing. These giant boulder-sized icebergs come flying across. I'm going to need you to make a dexterity saving throw as one of them slams into this great ship and breaks, kind of absolutely destroying part of the ship that you're standing next to Cryovane with. Warrendale too, actually. I guess you should be able to jump in the fun.
Yes, sir.
Dexterity saving throw.
Right now, I got that shitty roll out of the way. Yeah, great. That's not bad. 15, I guess.
15 is enough, but 11 is not. You see Warrendale flying over the side of the ship. Do you want to use your reaction to do anything? I'll give you a momentary action to try to catch him if you want. Or you just let him. He's kind of a dick anyways. He does have this coming to him. Do you want to just send him into the ice cold water?
You secretly do. I think he froze.
Did you freeze, Corey? Are you lost in thought?
Oh, you're asking me that?
Yes. Do you want to use your action to grab on to Warrendale, potentially putting yourself in danger, but helping your friend, obviously?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he helped me get off the ship, so I'm going to help him.
All right. Then make a quick athletics check to see if you're powerful enough to quickly jump over the side of the boat and catch on to him.
Yeah, this thing could be good. She does a lot of things. This is not one of them that she does well. It's this, right? Yeah. Big number. 15.
15 is enough to grab onto him. And now the role has almost been kind of switched now. You're the one on the side of the boat. You're reaching over and you grab onto him. And he kind of slams into the side of the boat. Part of it broken next to him where the iceberg impacted. But his feet kind of dangle and he's about 20 feet away from the water looking up at you. Nice catch.
Thank you.
Next up is... Where the heck are we? All right. The Jarl himself. And you see the giants kind of making their way along the coastline towards him. And he's standing on the balcony. And he speaks in giant that these disgusting small insects do not deserve to walk on the haven that is Varberg. And he starts to cast this spell, these arcane words spoken in giant. As he's tracing runes along his tattoos, they begin to glow, and he lets out this like almost rage-filled yell and then jumps an absolutely shocking amount of distance into the middle of the lake. The arcane words finish and there's this glow, and as he is jumping, sailing through the air, he lands basically right in the middle of the lake, and then poof, there's this shock wave and he lands on the water, causing like these ripples. And now this giant king, this Jarl Strolvad, is standing right on the middle of the water, and he starts to walk over towards where you and Cryovang are. Sunlit, you're holding on to Warrendale. He has this massive great axe that he's wielding, and you just see him doof, doof, as he steps across the water, basically walking on it by some magical incantation. He readies his great axe, and he's going to slam one attack into Cryovang. That attack hitting. And let me roll that damage, as I'm, for some reason, losing my voice already. Perfect. Absolutely landing this devastating strike. This adult dragon that is even like making the Jarl kind of look small. He quickly gangs his presence as he slices into this dragon and lands a devastating strike. He then looks towards you, Sunlit, and you, Warrendale, and he speaks.
Can I invoke Sir Barrack's Cure Protection, impose disadvantage if he's going to attack either one of Warrendale or...
Hey, I like it. Using my abilities. You call out to Sir Barrack, who's kind of across the battlefield. He's near the ship himself, and he starts yelling out, justice for Tyr. I'll defend our friends. Don't worry, Octavios. And he goes and starts basically just making all this kind of racket and banging on his shield with his maul, trying to get the attention of the Jarl, and it will impose a disadvantage as he goes to punch the ship that you're on. Sunlit, you speak giant. You hear him say to you that he will squash you for destroying his prized warship. I will repair it with your blood. And just a powerful whoosh, and he goes to punch into the side of the ship where you both are. Let's see what happens. Disadvantage because of Octavios' quick thinking. I rolled double 16 plus a 9. Pretty sure that's going to hit you.
Yeah.
All right. Here comes a punch from the King Jarl himself.
Yeah, this will be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't hurt at all.
It's going to feel good. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's a love punch. 29 damage to you, Sunlit, as the boat itself, the deck that you're on, completely smashes from underneath you with the force of this. It feels like your entire body is being crushed under the weight of this powerful Jarl. And Warrendale and you are absolutely, without any choice, sent into the drink, the icy cold depths below. You plummet down into this water, and it's absolutely dark. Warrendale, the cold of it immediately takes your breath away, and you just feel your heart start to ache as the absolutely shocking cold hits your body. You try to swim, Warrendale, but you're instantly numb, and you don't know if your body parts are moving or not. You look at Sunlit, who is pushed into the water. One of her greatest fears, she spoke about how much she hates water, and she's just kind of momentarily drifting there lifelessly. And as the water from below, you look up and you see that the sun is kind of shining down, and you're completely surrounded in this dark world of the underneath the water. You see the light kind of shimmering on her, and you almost swear for a second that there's like a whiteness to Sunlit's coat. You, Warrendale, are drifting downwards. You're trying to swim, but your body is too cold. You're sinking below, and you see Sunlit just kind of floating up above, just below the water line. Next up, we have, back to the top of the initiative, is Bjorn Hilda and her tiger tribe. They're looking towards you, Octavius, as they say the battle is quickly. We are losing the battle. We must flee at once.
To the boats! To the boats!
To the boats. All right. They are falling back with you, and now you guys make your way to the top of the dry docks. As you look across, you see that this incantation that the Jarl has spoken. Actually, let me read how many it affects before I go ahead and get too thematic in my description. I'm going to at least follow the rules here. You see that... Where is it? Is it just one? I thought it was more than one. Blah, 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 blah. Up to... You see 9 other frost giants beginning to walk across the water too, closing the distance between you guys. Octavius, their turn's not up yet, but you notice that they are too imbued by this water walk spell. Bjornhild and the Tiger Tribe are falling up to the top of the dry dock. They're on the deck below, looking to see what happened to Sunlit and Warrendale. Sunlit, you are momentarily like that moment when you get punched so hard that you just basically lose a moment of your life. It's complete blackness. You don't feel pain after the initial squash. You go to take a breath in, and you feel this absolute cold water enter your lungs. Instinctively, you hold your breath, and it's at that moment that you realize that you're now in the water, the absolute worst place that you could ever be. You have these flashbacks of your first time crossing the Sea of the Swords, and being shipwrecked when you first met the storm giants. You start to panic, but then as you realize, you don't feel the cold. You don't feel the pain. The ice cold water that should be freezing you to death instantly has no effect on you for some reason. You look behind and see that the talisman of the eye, or the oracle, is glowing on your back. You quickly start to tread water and look around and get your bearings. Give me a perception check.
Yes, sir. $21.
Somehow, you of all people remain calm in this water. And as you look around, you see that your companion Warrendale is sinking below you into the darkness, and it's just the most dark, cold, never-ending void. But faintly, you see below that Warrendale is sinking. Above you is haven. Above you is light. Above you is freedom from your fear. But below you is your friend, and he's drowning. What do you do?
How far away is he from me in the water?
He is at this point, after a couple seconds have gone by from your initial shock, maybe 20 feet down. It's hard to judge in this like empty void of like ocean water, but about 20 feet.
Okay. She is going to. I mean, she has a climb speed, but she doesn't have a swim speed. So, she's going to throw caution to the wind. This man that has been terrible to her recently has really kind of been really different, and she has some feelings towards that. And she takes the advantage that she has by knowing that she doesn't feel the cold of the water, and attempts to swim downward to get to Warrendale.
So yeah, within the grand scheme of things, I think when you don't have a swim speed, I could be wrong. Someone can correct me.
Half, right?
Is it half? I didn't think there was even any impediment, but if half is what rings a bell to you, that kind of makes sense to me.
I don't know. That's stuff. I can look it up real fast.
Yeah, I guess half would make sense because creatures that have swim speed would obviously have swim speed for a reason. So it would be probably difficult terrain. That makes sense to me. So him being 20 feet down, you could make it to him and almost up out of the water with, or wait,
yeah,
you have 40. You have 40 movement. So technically,
yeah, 40.
So technically, you could actually make it down to him and out of, and back up to the top of the water, right? With 40 feet of movement.
Yes.
So yeah, is that what you do?
Yes. And now, did he explode that boat?
In his rage, he actually did like punch a pretty sizable hole through it. So that
so
is.
Did it make? It made like rubble per se, or I mean splinters of the boat that are large.
Absolutely.
Okay, so she kind of would swim back up and look for one of those pieces of boat, and kind of rests Warren onto that, so at least part of his body is on it.
Yeah.
And the next turn she plans on putting his whole body on it. But yeah, you know what I mean? She moved, so I gotta wait until I don't move before I can do that, my super movement. So
I can pull myself up on if you want to. I mean, I'm conscious.
Is he awake?
Yeah, he is awake, and in this, you'll find out what's going to happen to him on his turn being in this water. But he is awake. But as you pull him out of the water and onto the thing, you see that his skin is like almost turned this like shockingly pale blue, and his teeth are chattering and his hands are barely moving. On his turn, he has a chance of being able to do something for sure. So you kind of like speak to him, tell him that like get him, like slap him in the face and get him ready, and it'll be up to what happens on his turn whether he can do stuff or not. But yeah, you can get him onto a piece of driftwood and he should be able to do stuff. Doesn't look good though. You know that for some reason you don't feel this cold, but you know that he needs to get out of this water quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I have nothing else. She has no good bonus actions for this.
All right.
Is she have enough to get herself onto it?
I used up all my movement.
I mean,
she's on a piece of driftwood too. Like
okay. That's, yeah, okay.
This isn't Titanic.
That's what I mean.
Jack.
You both I'm Jack, and that's what I was.
No, you both can share the driftwood.
Okay.
Yeah. No, because that's going to be a goodbye Warrendale, and self-preservation. Sunlit is going to be running away.
So, Warrendale, you're up next. You momentarily, like, you don't go unconscious, right? But you do kind of black out as you're in this water. The first thing that you're going to need to do is give me a Constitution saving throw to see if your body doesn't immediately like plummet into hypothermia, and see if you can actually even do stuff, because this water is disgustingly cold. All right, you managed to collect yourself. This is a life or death situation. Adrenaline is fully pumping. You look at your hands, and they're like already starting. The water that's on them is starting to freeze over you. Your lungs are like momentarily. You feel the ice kind of like freezing in your lungs, even your eyes and everything. Give me a. Actually, you don't even need to. As you come out and you look and see Sunlit, who has rescued you, and the absolute chaos of this battle, you look at her, and her black as night fur cloak is now this shimmering, icy white. It's not ice. It's as if the fur coat itself has changed color.
So she's not a black cat any longer?
Doesn't look like it to Warrendale. Now, if that means anything to you, probably not in the grand scheme of things. You're cold as fuck and you want to get out of the water, but it's just something that strikes you as weird as you're like looking at how to get out. And then you look at Sunlit and her color has completely changed.
We went Siamese.
Oh no. It's not like you're happy. Anyways, sorry.
What do you do, Warrendale? You're about, now that the boat is kind of like slowly starting to sink, you're about on this big piece of driftwood. I'm going to say 15 feet away from the sinking boat and about 20, 30 feet away from the actual ice kind of beach, I guess we'll call it. That's probably not the right word, but
there's 6 giants and what's his name out on the water walking towards us.
Jarl is on the water and absolutely furious, now engaged with Cryovan. And then as you look behind him towards the west, you see 9 other giants beginning to walk across the water. And that leaves the remainder of the troop that can't be enchanted by the spell to basically cross the south side cliff and jump over to the dry dock. But it's going to take them a little bit longer now that they can't walk across water.
Perfect. And Cyric's distracting dart, does that work on a batch of people? Like if I tried to do something against those 6 giants, do I get advantage on those 6 giants?
Yeah, so basically they're all clumped into like 1 HP pool.
That's what I thought. Yep.
So yeah.
Perfect. Warren will look at you for the moment. Sonny, pull himself up onto this board. See, his skin is taking on this bluish color, and the frost on his eyebrows, on his very handsome mustache and his hair. His eyes have this bit of spark of electricity in them, though. He's at the edge of this board. You can see the tips of his fingers glow. It looks blue at first. You might think it might be the frostbite or something, but you see electricity sparkling across his fingers, down his hands. His hair kind of flows back a little bit. You can see his veins underneath. These bluish colored veins start to show through his skin. I am going to use my chromatic orb. I'm going to use 2 sorcery points to use this as a bonus action. You can see this orb start to grow in his hands. It starts smaller, and he pulls it out. It's a little bit bigger, and he just slams it into the water, watching this electricity arc across the water. Wood is a defender, inhibitor of electricity, so we'd be safe. But water makes electricity even better.
True.
And I don't know how you want me to do that, but my goal is to try and just freaking electrocute them all.
Yeah, so give me a roll at advantage and see if you hit first. It'd be awkward if you didn't.
Well, let's see what I got here, because
they're all wearing rubber boots.
That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing it as a bonus thing. But let's see, actions, chromatic orb. And it's a regular attack, I think, right? Yeah, okay. And advantage.
Beautiful. That is definitely a hit. Now, since they are on water, and that's obviously a conductor of electricity, I am going to ask you for an Arcana check to see how powerful this surge is.
Skills, Arcana. It's not my best one, but yeah.
So with that, the equivalent is that it's going to damage essentially, because obviously this is like an absolutely massive lake, right? So a cantrip isn't going to like completely, or no, this isn't even a cantrip. It's a level
1.
It's not going to like it's not going to fry them all, but with the moment and the ferocity and the channeling of your sorcery points and the kind of powerful arcana of energy that you command, I'm going to give you basically damage to 2 of them. So even though they're in the same pool, I guess it's essentially just critted in the grand scheme of things, even though you didn't.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if you want me to double up because I'm doing the exact same thing. So I'm using my 2 sorcery points to do that as bonus action. Now I was going to do the same exact thing again as one bigger ball that he's creating.
Okay, yeah, cool. So roll again, see if you hit then, and then we'll figure out the damage after it's all said and done.
All right. Do I have advantage on that one too, or no?
Yep, we'll say you do, and just see if you crit. They should have brought the rubber boots. You didn't crit, so that's another hit. So then with 2 hits, and what does Chromatic Orb normally do?
3d8.
3d8. Give me, so you hit twice, so it's already 68. Let's just make it a full 8d8. How does that sound?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Invoke the other thing.
What other thing? Oh,
The extra damage that you can get from
that didn't really make sense for this one. I was thinking about it, but I got a little bit of a backup here, and I'm going to use my sorcery point to re-roll that 1.
Nice.
Yeah, a little better.
All right, so what does that boost it up to?
41, 44.
44 damage. That is impressive. And I'm going to say that it's the first pack that's already been engaged, so let me do that mathematics skills here, aka use my calculator. Nice. Describe what that looks like. You don't take any down, but you obviously badly shock and actually visibly injure we'll say the whole pack. And you can describe what it looks like.
So like I said, you see that ball of orb. He kind of gives you that look, so I need to not go near the water. It just gets bigger and bigger as he keeps harnessing this energy. You can see the skin underneath of him, that those veins start to stick out, almost like arcs of electricity underneath his skin. But you can definitely see his veins. His eyes take on this palish white sort of color with sparks of electricity. You can feel it just radiating off of him before he just takes this whole orb and just slams it on the water. It's just electricity across this lake that's in the middle of this place.
Very cool. So next up, I actually forgot this. I've kind of been breaking the rules a little bit, but a lot of the giants are actually afraid of the dragon right now, so technically they couldn't be moving forward. So we'll say, just out of the grand scheme of things, that the Jarl was smart enough to cast Water Walk on the giants that aren't afraid, and it's the rest of them that are kind of like cowering back on the course, but on the cliff side. But they are starting to save now as the other pack is going to go across. And I'm going to say that the first pack is just the water walking pack at this point, and they are going to charge across the water and engage with Cryovang. They want to take down the dragon. He's probably the most intimidating out of all of you, no offense. So they are going to just slam into him, and once they take down Cryovang, they will deal with you all next. So this pack is going to hit him again. Cryovang, now being engaged with the Jarl and taking attacks throughout this combat, is now bloodied, and you see that his one wing is badly injured, and he probably has lost the ability to fly as he is quickly losing the fight. Nurth and Broshin basically jump across into the water and start to climb up the dry dock, basically dock itself, and they're climbing up the side of the cliff, and you see their big massive fingers kind of come over the cliff side or the dock side that you're on, Octavius, and Octavius dropped, so awkward. But they are going to try to swipe at you, Octavius, who is not here, and Broshin is going to try to punch one of the barbarian tribes men. So I'll do that, and that is done. And then try to hit Octavius, who is not here to defend himself. I feel like a bit of a dick. All right. Natural 1. Convenient. Octavius would normally be up right now, but seems like he's having technical difficulties. So until he comes back, which I'm just checking the chat to see if he's saying anything, which he's not. We will hold Octavius's turn, I guess, and then if he doesn't act by the end of the initiative, I'll do something for him.
Said he's
Cryovang.
working on it.
He's working on it. Perfect. Cryovang is going to use, first of all, one of its legendary actions off turn to slam into one of the giants, and then he is going to make a couple of his attacks against the Jarl and the pack. So now he has 7 giants on him. He's going to go into a life or death frenzy, clawing at the Jarl and hitting, clawing at the Jarl again and hitting, and then biting at one of the giants that are kind of jumping on his back and also hitting. Still a worthy adversary, an adult white dragon. So Jarl takes some damage. The pack also taking some damage. Do that and do that, as one of the 6 of the first pack of giants has been killed. So now down to 5. That puts up next the pack of giants that are still on the land, and they basically spend their turn saving from the fear that's opposed upon them. So they're going to be in full working order next turn and able to descend upon you guys. But for now, they have been thwarted by the giant or by the dragon's frightful presence, which now puts up Livy.
Excellent. Yep, Livy's still working on her retreat, but she is definitely still training her crossbow on the Jarl. I believe. Did I hear that Serica Brennan his special was used this round?
Sir Beric? No. No one used his thing this round.
Sweet. Then, yeah, she's going to call upon him to use a distracting dart. Like, hit the Jarl! And so that way she can at least get advantage on one of her attacks, correct?
Yep. So Sirik kind of running up the dock beside you, does a sniper blow dart across the bay. He's just amazing with this thing. This little dart kind of sinks into the frost giant's or the Jarl's leg. He's already pretty distracted as it is, but that dart is just the tip of the iceberg for him, and you see a wide opening for him.
All right, so I clicked the advantage, and now when I roll, it should just automatically do that.
Indeed.
Or not, that was a 15 plus advantages plus 12, so that 15 plus 8 for 23 to hit, so that's a hit right there.
Gonna do it.
And that's just the one attack, and so there, cool, it showed the damage at least. And then her second attack, just a regular roll. Oh, there, that shouldn't be an advantage. It worked that time. Anyways, let's see. I didn't catch what the other roll was. So.
You dropped a 9, so a 9 plus an 8 is 17, so still hit.
Awesome. Then here goes. Oh, nope, wrong. Damage die, Mary. Damage die.
And damn crossbow always hits.
Oh, cool. There. So,
all right.
23 points of fire damage coming his way.
Beautiful. All right, and at this point, as you're landing these strikes over and over again on him, he winces out in pain, yelling as many of these darts now sink into his back. They're kind of like burnt embers. As you just,
porcupine by now.
Yeah, he's starting to look like that, and he can no longer just ignore your attacks. He looks at you in absolute rage as you're kind of climbing up this dry docks, basically like ladder.
Cover hopefully behind something as she's kind of maneuvering along.
Yeah,
if no cover possible, then whatever.
You feel very vulnerable as you meet the gaze of the Jarl's eyes, his fury, and he is going to start heading your way next turn. These next frost giants are going to, I guess, let me see how many of them would have been. These guys would have been not feared at this point, so they are going to make their way across. And who do they want to engage with? They're going to try to finish off the barbarian tribe. So they are going to hit, and let's see how many of those barbarians get wrecked. All right, there's one. I see Dan's back.
Sanity.
Just on my phone.
All right. Well, it seems to be working. That sucks that you had to do that. But what you witness, to catch you up, I don't know if you heard everything, is Nurth and Broshan started climbing up the side of the wall on the dry docks to catch up to you guys. Broshan reached up and grabbed and threw a bunch of the barbarians off to their death. Nurth tried to grab you and throw you off, but rolled a nat 1. He couldn't bring himself to hit you. You look at Livy, who has shot a bunch of more fire arrows into the back of the Jarl, and now the Jarl, actually being lit up like a fiery porcupine, is now furious at Livy and is going to strike. And you see the other pack of frost giants also start to climb up the dry dock and basically obliterate half of the Tiger Tribe's clan. So there's now only 6 barbarians left plus Bjornhild. I'll give you your attack since I kind of bypassed you before the Jarl goes, which is probably a good turn to have.
All right.
Save me.
If you pull open my character sheet, I have a spell, level 2 or level 3, I think. It's like calm or
calm emotion.
Yeah, calm
calm
emotion. I want to calm emotion and use the second effect on calm emotion and see if I can calm all friends within my
all right,
all human.
Yeah, so you can potentially make him indifferent towards this and attacked by what blah blah blah. Or wait, this indifferent ends if the target is attacked or harmed by a. Okay, cool. And just reading this big wall of text, it's a charisma saving throw. All right, where are you, Jarl? Jarl Strolvad. Are you a charismatic leader? Let me roll it up. He's pretty charismatic. So he rolled a nice for you. He rolled a 9 with modifiers. So that is a fail. So now he is indifferent as the spell washes over him towards a choice. He's indifferent about a creature of your choice. So who do you want him to be indifferent to?
All humans. All forms of human.
Creatures indifferent about creatures. Nice. Interesting. Okay. And yeah, he momentarily is bamboozled by this until he is attacked or harmed and or if he witnesses any of his friends being harmed. All right. So as long as you guys don't attack the giants, the Jarls chill with you.
So
what about all the other giants in within 20 feet?
Sorry. Let me see. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, they'll make a save too. I didn't realize there's an AoE thing. That's really cool. That's a nice spell. I've never seen that used before.
So yeah, Tabaxi's our human.
Nice. It's only one creature too.
Nope.
So that sucks. And
nope, they're not.
Of course, the other pack of frost giants are also failing their saving throw. So, geez, that's really cool.
You need to act more human.
You see 6 or 5 frost giants in the Jarl washed over by this calm emotion spell from Octavios, and they kind of look at the humans nonchalantly, losing the furious gaze that she had upon Livy. But then, obviously, they're not completely like enfeebled. They still realize that they're engaged with a dragon, and then they look over to their side and see poor Tabaxi sunlit floating on a piece of driftwood beside Warrendale. You presume that they're probably going to be a little more interested in the dragon for now.
At this point, I would like to relay the information of what I just did to the giants to all of my friends so that they don't attack them.
Mm-hmm.
And that they use their movement to get to the boats. And at the same time, since I believe Warren didn't utilize it, I would like to enlist Sir Barrick to shoot his distracting dart at anybody that goes after Sunlit so that she might have a chance to get back to the boats as well.
Okay, so Sir Barrick is the one. He is the Knight of Tyr. Cyric is the blow dart. Barrick is the guardian. Yeah, so if... Yeah, if someone tries to go after Sunlit, he will try his best to distract them. All right. Noted. Nice turn. That's a cool spell. I've never actually seen that used before. All right. So, and perfect. The Jarl's up now. He was definitely going to go after Livy with all of his fury, but now he realizes that maybe that's not such a good idea. There's a dragon in front of him. He's going to try to finish off the dragon. So he
you won, Tavios.
swings and he hits the dragon, and then he natural 20s the dragon with his sexual strike. Jesus.
There you go. With
Well
all
done.
this.
Yikes.
This escalated quickly.
Yikes. It got
As much as I want to keep the dragon around, I'm kind of glad that's the dragon right now, not Livy.
Yeah.
So the Jarl does 56 damage to the dragon with his 2 strikes, and that almost puts it in a critical state. Cryovang probably not going to last much longer as he yells out for you guys to help him. You had an agreement. Next up is Bjornhild. She is kind of standing at the top of the dry dock, dumbfounded, Octavios and Livy. She's looking off into the distance. And as you tug at her to go, she doesn't move momentarily. She's locked. Her vision is locked upon something. And you see this barbarian in her massive winter tiger's fur coat. You're pulling at her, this massive woman, and she's standing there saying something over and over again in her own native language. And she says over and over again, Skavella Zimne Zavira.
Which would also still be giant, because that's what Goliaths speak.
They're not Goliaths, they're humans.
Oh, they're humans? Okay, I thought they were Goliaths. Sorry.
Yeah, they speak their own kind of barbaric language. And then again, she's Skavella Zimne Zavira. And then the other 6 remaining tribesmen also hear that, and they look over, and they too start to yell it. And then their momentum builds up, and the more they say this and the more they look, they're getting more excited, and they start to go into like this war cry. They're yelling it over and over again. Skavella Zimne Zavira. And they are going to start attacking furiously at the giants that are trying to knock them off the side of the bridge. And in doing so, they actually knock off Broshin's fingers, and he kind of falls back into the water.
Is Broshin part of the people that were under that spell?
Broshin was not, no. So the people that were under that spell is Jarl. Oh yeah, I guess they would see that going on then. Shit. The barbarians, though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would happen for sure. Which would in turn, I kind of trolled you there, but the barbarians would definitely do that. Attack Broshin.
But if he's not under spell, what does it matter?
The only thing that matters is that the Jarl would see this happening.
Oh yeah.
And so would everybody else. But yeah, so it at least saved a round. And you hear the cries, Sunlit, of the barbarian people as something boosts their morale impressively. And you swear that Bjornhild is looking at you across the lake as she is like chanting this barbaric language.
Okay. It's my turn, right?
You got other things to worry about, as the Jarl is only about 15 feet away from you, engaged with Cryovang, and there's 5 other giants that are also engaged with him. Cryovang is going to use his legendary action to tail whip on your turn.
Okay. It is my turn, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's do this. For me to be able to move crazy, I can't move this turn, which is insane. But I can move 240 feet next turn.
Seems useful.
Which, yeah.
Not if you're dead.
Yeah, not if I'm dead, because I don't have a ton of life right now. Yeah, she doesn't have time to wait for that. I am going to double dash. And it's just not gonna change anything. Fuck. All right, yeah. She's gonna grab Warren by the back of his cloak and begin to double dash like that. Now she's only gonna be able to move 40 feet because I'm gonna be dragging Warren with me. But instead of only being able to move 20 feet, she's able to move 40 feet.
So two choices here then.
Yeah.
You can drag him towards the sinking ship where all the fight is going, which is definitely the more direct route, but the also much more dangerous route. Or you can basically first go up northwards towards the temple, and then this is a much longer distance, I guess, but would basically take you out of the fight. So do you want to quickly go through the shitstorm, or do you want to cautiously drag yourself away?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna drag him away, and we're gonna go up that way, and then we're gonna try to see if there's something we can grab cover behind, and make sure he's okay, make sure I'm okay, and then she'll tell him if we can wait here, and they don't know where we are. I'll be able to lead the way. You won't be able to keep up with me. But, yes, we'll make our way to the ships, as you said. Yeah. And can I roll stealth to get by? There's got to be just huge shit around here.
Did you dash as an action?
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't be able to stealth hide on your turn if you spent your action. But you're also like not.
Or I could spend I can do that. Because I could spend a key point and make that so.
Up to you if you want to spend a key point.
Yes.
Okay, so then go ahead and roll me a stealth.
Well, that encompass both of us because I'm bringing him to where I want him to go.
You can't really stealth for him, but you're also kind of like not in the middle of the fight anymore. You've taken the least path of resistance, so you're kind of off towards the temple now, and a bit of the way out of the fight. And obviously, with an adult dragon in front of the Yarrow, they're not super fixed on you. And then the other two packs of giants are trying to climb up the dry dock and engage and wipe out the barbarians. So, in the grand scheme of things, you're not in the most visible of positions, anyways.
Yeah, and then I rolled a 23. So, right. And the last thing that she says to him, real quick, is he still here? Or did he leave?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. And why are you looking at me like that? And she can tell that you're looking at her strangely because she's not a black cat any longer. She has that intuition, but she doesn't know why.
You look pretty. Meow.
This isn't time for that, Warrendale. And she just kind of puts her paw, hand on his face. You almost froze to death.
Bah.
And yeah, that's
disappear into the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Warrendale, you're up next as Sunlit kind of disappears behind you. You know she couldn't have gone far. As you look now southwards, you see this massive battle unfolding. You see on the broken great ship the Yarrow walking on water with his 5 comrades fighting Cryovane as the dragon's blood is spilling everywhere and soon to be overcome at any moment. You look over to the dry dock where you see your friends climbing up this rickety old giant ladder that kind of is zigging up one direction and then going up the other way up this like cliffside, and you see multiple frost giants climbing up and trying to rip off barbarians by the dozens, or not by the dozens, but by the handful. As their forces are dwindling, the barbarians are stabbing into these guys and fighting back. One of the giants falls back into the water. This is hundreds of feet away from you. You're now out of the battlefield, still shivering cold. You still have to honestly make a con save just to get over this initial hypothermia, unless you didn't really do anything to kind of fix that last turn, so you're obviously still very cold. So give me a con save.
All right, ready.
You make it. You know that something's not right though, as you're like more sluggish. I imagine that last like chromatic orb like really caused like a nosebleed and was like a strain on your body. Your body is like in just pure like adrenaline life-saving mode now, and you feel the strain on it as you move. It's like every movement is strenuous, but you're fighting it off because you know you need to.
Being that they're all out of range, did Sunny leave, or is she still there?
She's just stealth. Unless she's not wanting to be seen by you, you would see her, but she did. Okay. She was pretty stealthy. You just know she's around.
Yeah, I'm just making my way out of here the best I can, assuming that I see everybody else trying to do the same thing.
All right.
I can't.
And she did explain to her that she's about to bolt.
Yeah, so I just keep moving.
Do you want to like stealth with her and move, or do you just want to full on like dash?
I'll just full on dash.
All right.
A reason to stealth, really.
Gotcha. So yeah, you spend your movement running along the cliffside. Giving you a dash, you're still honestly about let's see what you could have got, 60 feet.
Yeah.
So you're still like a pretty decent amount of ways away from even the group itself. You got some distance now. Taking the long way away, you got some distance to cover. It's probably going to be a bit of dashing for you, unfortunately. All right. Giants up next. Trying to finish off Cryovang. Let's see if they get lucky this turn. As oof. And then that would be 5 left. So yikes. Yeah. You watch as Cryovang doing everything that it can. It claws into one of the giants, pushing it back. Another frost giant jumps over, two-handed axing. It spreads out its broken wing and kind of slams into him, pushing him back. The Jarl kicks it in the chest and then cuts at it, and then you see the other giant start to pull on it. The dragon does everything that it can to fight it off, but against 6 powerful frost giants in a massive fight, you see one axe sink into its chest, breaking its kind of like breastbone, another axe cutting across its other wing, another axe and another axe, and then Cryovang is just beaten into a bloody mess as the dragon has been defeated. Next up is Nirth in Broshin. Broshin has been knocked into the water. Nirth, on the other hand, is climbing up towards you, Octavius, and he's going through this moral conundrum now with the calm emotion spell, or it wasn't even affecting him. He says, "You lied to me. You said Nirth was the Jarl, but you threw him out at the first chance you could get. You are no friend of Nirth," and he is going to try to grapple you, Octavius. Opposed athletic or acrobatics check. Oh my god.
I'll do acrobatic. No, I'll do athletic.
All right. I rolled super good.
I only rolled a 12 and I don't know what my modifier is.
Can you see what I rolled?
No.
I rolled a natural 2 plus modifier, which giants are really strong, but I still only rolled an 8. So
sweet.
You are
at
able
the same time I'll be yelling back to Nerf. I'll be saying Jarl Nerf, we wanted to give you the position. We weren't kicking you out. We just needed more time. I can't believe you turned on us. And
you used Nerf.
We'll do a deacon weave.
And she's not buying what you're saying.
That's fine.
He is going to then, since he's not having any luck grabbing at you, rip the dock from underneath your feet. Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. 18.
Nice. All right. You feel the wooden boards from underneath you start to get, you hear them creaking at first and splintering, and then you feel a little bit of like weightlessness underneath you, and then you just jump. And there's this moment as you're kind of like flying to the air, and then the boards underneath you splinter and break away. You see the icy water below, but then you grab onto the piece of the dock and you are hanging there as Nerth is like trying to grab up at you. You're panicking, you're kicking your feet, you pull yourself up and roll away as this giant hand just momentarily comes up and just misses you. You're up next.
All right, Octavius will scramble to his feet. He'll survey the battlefield and try to. I think he sees Warren about 70 feet away, maybe 80 feet away.
Warrendale, in the
Or
grand
can I even
scheme of
see them?
things, give me a perception check. You might have lost him in the chaos, to be honest.
That's a 6.
6 plus your thing. You probably don't know your thing, right? So
No.
6 plus your perception is +3. So still not that great. You don't know where Warrendale is.
Okay. How close is
How close is who? Sorry,
Livy?
Livy. Very close to you. You
And
two
how
are.
close? The barbarians are gone, right? They're fighting.
Barbarians are fighting beside you. They're yelling out this weird language that I'm sure you heard me say, Scavella, Zimne, Zavira. And then they're just fighting furiously now, trying to knock off the frost giants that are coming. Bjornhild is with them. Their numbers are very halved, at least.
I think I have a level 1 spell called Bestow Hope or something like that.
Let me check for you. Octavius Ren. Check in your skills. Level 1 spell. You have protection from good and evil, sanctuary, bestow hope. I don't recognize that or see it on your.
Might be
thing.
level 2.
Level 2. Also, do not see it. Beacon of Hope. Level 3.
Yeah, there we go. Well, that'd be my last level 3 spell then.
Okay, and any number of creatures within your range, so 30 feet for the duration, have advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, and regain the maximum number of hit points from any possible healing. Nice. So cool. This is concentration for up for a minute. What do you do to bestow hope upon them? What does this look like?
Octavius will scramble to his feet, and then he'll raise his hand. He'll kind of join into the chanting that the barbarians are doing, and he'll lock eyes with Livy, and just a faint glow starts to come from Octavius's hand as he's wrapped around his emblem and his spell thing, and a faint glow starts to shine brighter and brighter as he gets more into the chanting. And all of a sudden, just this wave of light goes over everybody, and they feel this hope grow inside of them, and they fight harder, and they realize that they might have a chance, even if it's a false chance.
Absolutely, and they do have hope bestowed upon them as they fight against a unwinnable battle. They fight bravely and they fight fiercely as the other pack of giants, now completely shaking off their fear, is going to join in, and they're spending their full turn, kind of like, or not full turn, but spending their movement running up to the side of the cliff that's opposite of the dry dock, and they're picking up rocks and whipping them at the barbarians first. And I don't even need to roll for that, actually. Sorry. So the barbarians, let's see what happens to them. Might meet their end here. 3 more are smashed and sent into the water below. And then another one of the massive rocks make their way through. And this might be the end. Oof. Nope. 2 barbarians still hold on. So of the 18 barbarians that started this fight, there's just 2 left, plus Bjornhild, the queen tiger leader, the lioness, the great white lioness. And rocks are now smashing the dry dock itself, the ladder leading up to it. Livy, you know, standing on this, that this dry dock has basically until the end of the round to be left standing, and then it's going to fall. You still have a couple of giant flights of stairs to make it up before you get to the giant's lodge itself, the dry dock itself. So you know that if you spend your turn kind of hanging out here, that this dry dock is going to fall away, sending you many feet below into the water. What do you do?
She'll use her movement to get to safety.
All right.
And if it ends up having to be like a full movement, like to move 60 instead of 30 feet, then she'll move 60.
Yeah, so climbing these giant stairs towards the end now, there's actually an athletics check that is required to do it when it's kind of in a hustle, because like it's literally like you gotta jump up, pull yourself. It does have to be athletics. It's not very hard. But
says the DM to the player that has a -1 to her athletics.
Nice.
See?
That's good. That's good. The adrenaline's going.
Easily climb up, and now you're on top of the dry dock. And with that good roll, it doesn't even use up your action.
Excellent, because she's going to use that action to be like, Jarl, ping, ping. Just going to keep this going. And she'll also call to Beldora to help out with the barbarians to trip those giants that unit.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, that's a smart idea. Belladora will do that. And since these aren't a boss type giants, she actually knocks off a couple back into the water, which is going to really help you out when they're up next.
So 27 for the first bolt. And that's a 16 plus 8. So that would be 24. There we go. So both hit.
Another double hit.
That's a 6 plus 5 for 11.
Okay.
And a 7 plus 5 for 12. So that would be 23.
Just peppering this poor Jarl. He has flaming, or the arrows kind of like deteriorate away since they're arcane arrows, but his back is just like pelted with these burn marks, and you actually see like kind of like glowing burn spots on the patchwork armor that's burnt away and melted into his skin. With the calm emotions now over, he's more mad than ever that he was enfeebled by a small folk, and he's going to come and try to kill you guys.
He's bloodied yet?
Yeah, he's bloodied.
Oh, God. God.
But the frost giants are up next, and as they're climbing up to finish off the barbarians, you call out to Belladora, help them out, and she kind of and loads up another big crossbow, sinks it into the ground, and it's like, how about you guys climb up this? And then poof, pulls the trigger. It slams into a bunch of them, knocking over a couple, only leaving one on the dock. So that means that it still gets to attack, unfortunately. And the last two remaining tiger tribes, besides Bjornhild, are sent to their icy death. Jarl Strolvad is up next, and the dragon finished Livy, and his back pelted with burning holes. He is quite pissed at you, and he, since he already, Sir Barrick's now's a good time to Sir Barrick for sure. This isn't concentration. Let me just double check that I haven't concentration. Nope. So he uses a spell that he's already had casted on him that you guys got a glimpse of before but didn't notice maybe, and jumps from the ship over to in front of you. He somehow, like a giant jumps pretty far, you would presume, but this guy is jumping triple of what he should. And you presume that he has some other kind of spell casted on him as he triples his movement in the form of a jump. And boof, lands right beside you. You're at the top of the dry dock, so you're basically level with his face. The towering Jarl. And he is going to Hunter's Mark you as a bonus action, Livy. And then
like you need that.
And then give you the old great axe.
If shield looks like it'll help, she will also utilize shield.
So I'm assuming you're Sir Barricking at this point, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Sir Barrick.
So he readies his axe and he says in giant, which you don't understand, you'll pay for this, puny weakling. And then great axe, and then momentarily Sir Barrick bravely comes out with his big shield and Fortier, justice, and boof, sparks fly everywhere as he imposes himself and basically splits his shield, which has the symbol of Tyr on it, in half as he blocks the first strike. He is sent flying backwards as that took everything in his ability to block the Jarl. Next up is his second attack, which you said that you can shield if you want. And yeah, so I think I tell you what he rolled. So he rolled a 23. Does that help you?
She thinks about using shield and she's just like, fudge, as it just comes right at her too quick.
Okay. And here is the old great axe for you. 25 damage.
Yeah, she's feeling that. That got her real good.
Octavios, you see Livy point blank take the Jarl's great axe, and she too, after being blocked by Beric, is sent flying into the side of the dry dock building, actually breaking part of the log itself, like one of these big giant fucking wooden palisades, I guess, which are not palisade, but you know what I mean, like big wooden lodge, like a big whole like tree basically. She's sent flying into and breaks into the side of it, and her body like momentarily crumples as she picks herself up, being badly injured. Next up is the top of the initiative, who is Bjorn Hild, and she is going to ready herself beside you, Livy, and she says to you in common that to die in front of the great winter tiger is an honor that any barbarian of the Tiger tribe would be glad to do. And she readies her attack and recklessly starts swinging at the Jarl, defending you, and hits the Jarl. Sunlit, you're up next.
Okay. All right. So she's going to
You see, sorry to recap, Warrendale just full on fucking sprinting ahead of you. And he's trying to get to obviously his friends, and you see the shitstorm that's going on up ahead of you, like hundreds of feet away.
Yeah, and that's not a problem. She is going to she's gonna stay hidden where she is, because like I said, I do have to not move for a whole turn before I can super move. So I'm gonna roll stealth again.
All right, roll it.
And I want to do a flavor thing. Yeah, 19.
All right. And what's your
and
flavor?
she's just gonna kind of look herself over. Now, it was very strange to her that she didn't feel cold when she was in the water.
So as you look yourself over, you do see that your black fur, at first you just think you have like snow on you, and you go to brush it off and it doesn't go away. And then you look at it and you kind of like scratch at it more, and you realize that your jet black fur has been dyed like pure white. And you think back to when you were crossing the Icewind Dales, when you met those crag cats, these giant like winter grizzly bear sized tigers, and how like they were perfectly white, the apex predator of the winter lands, the Icewind Dales, and your fur is like the exact same color as them. You're this icy white, fleecy white coat now instead of your normal jet black, and you notice that the talisman on your back is like humming with energy.
Yeah, she enjoys that. At first, it's slightly off-putting as she's trying to rub it off, so on and so forth. But then she does have that moment where she's like, "This makes me even better in this situation," and she takes off the those fur cloaks that we got, because we'll still be wearing those.
Yeah, the Yeti cloaks.
Yeah, those Yeti cloaks, and leaves it there on the ground, and gets full look at herself, and just is more impressed than disappointed.
All right. And as you're readying yourself to like recharge your superpower speed movement, your stealth that you rolled in 19 is pretty good. But it turns out that there is somebody looking for you. And on this turn, they rolled a 21. You hear from
Okay.
behind you a voice. You are a survivor, are you not?
Well, I haven't died yet.
You are a smart kitty. A familiar voice. You look behind
All
you
right.
and you
Yeah,
see
it's
like
the wizard guy.
you see footprints, but you don't see the wizard guy.
Yeah. So there, wizard man. Is there anything you can do to turn the tide here? We did what you asked.
Yes, you did do what I asked. You caused a very good distraction. That is great. I think the Jarl will be very distracted for a time now. And I've learned quite a bit from your group. Quite a bit indeed. I've spoken to my friends, and I think we have decided the best course of action.
And what can you enlighten me? There,
Yes,
teller of riddles.
you will give me that talisman.
Not gonna happen.
And he cast suggestion on you. Give me a wisdom. Is it wisdom? Reading it. Wisdom saving throw.
I'm going to kill this motherfucker if she ever resists us. I'll tell you that straight up. What is it?
Wisdom saving throw. DC. I'll just tell you beforehand so that you know straight up. Let me go up here. DC. Sorry, this guy's a lot of spells. DC 5. No, not 15. Where the fuck is it? Jesus, sorry. DC. Why is it not telling me what it is? Sorry. My apologies. I should know this, but
It's gotta be a massive number.
It's not as bad as you would think, but let me just roll. Let me just do this. So I click that in the chat. Oh, it's only DC 14. Let's fuck go. You will give me the talisman.
Quick! Does anyone have inspiration?
Me and my friends will take it from here. Thank you for the distraction. And know
I'll give him inspiration.
that you've played a very important part in saving the world. You can take inspiration from Dan, apparently, if you want it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
All right, roll again. Hey, you're momentarily like you're taking off the talisman from your back, and you know that like you don't want to give it to this guy. You just suddenly see like the seediness of him. It's like his personality itself. You can just hear in his voice has changed, and you're handing it over to him, and then you just hear the voice of like Octavios saying something cool, and you snap out of it, pull it back. No, he's controlling your mind somehow.
Yeah. So I never used an action this turn.
It's true. You have been sitting there, and he's still invisible. He hasn't because let me just make sure that because he casted a higher form of. Or wait, no, that's concentration. So yeah, he broke invisibility because greater invisibility is concentration also, right? Let me see. Yep. So he definitely broke concentration, and now is visible in front of you. Make the smart choice to backseat. Give me the talisman. You've done enough.
It's not going to happen, though, wizard. And the fact that you tried to use your magical means in order to get it, rather than just helping us, where maybe we would have given it to you, is very off-putting to me.
He pulls out a wand, and as he does so, you kind of see his cloak catch momentarily, and it pulls back his arm, and you see on his arm what looks like, you swear for a moment, like seashells and like coral, like there's reef growing on his skin, and he quickly pulls out a wand.
Yeah, and she at this point she's not going to talk to him anymore.
Yep.
And I'm going to attack his ass.
All right, go ahead.
There's one. I'm just going to roll 3 in a row.
Okay.
I'm going to use a key point. That's a miss. Sure.
Yep.
Oh, no,
his AC is only 12, but you managed to blow that last attack.
yeah.
He doesn't even have mage armor, eh? What a pleb. Actually, he does have that, though. He will reactionary shield the very first strike, but obviously 21 still a miss. So his with his shield boosts up to a 17. So what is that? 2 attacks get through still? And
No, just one.
Just one? Okay, 1 attack gets through then. As he shields reactionary. You start punching into him as the first strike punches across into him. The second strike is blocked by his arcane energy. 6 damage.
So, yeah. That's only towards giants, right?
Yeah. Or what? The comma whip? Yep.
Yeah, for comma whip.
You knock out a tooth from Neilron, who has been waiting and looking for you, waiting for the right opportunity. Next up is, after Sunlit, Warrendell. You're running, and you haven't seen Sunlit in a while, but she's been stealthing, so you're none the wiser, realistically, unless you want to take like a instinct check or something and know that something's wrong, but you're nonetheless running away and have put yourself a good distance between where you and Sunlit last talked.
Yeah, you wouldn't be paying much attention to that case. I'd just keep running. I don't know how far away they are. I'm assuming I'm just dashing again.
Okay. Absolutely. So with a dash, that puts you at like the dry dock itself, but now it's been like broken and fallen away, which actually Octavios is definitely going to have to deal with on his turn. I actually forgot about that. So that'll be fun for Octavios. But yeah, you kind of get there as the Jarl is battling with Livy and Sir Beric, and you see that the dock itself starts to fall away. Above you, obviously, where you need to be is about a 30-foot climb with the dock's ladder not being there. But yeah, with your dash action, you get there. You also see the 5 remaining frost giants have slayed the dragon, and they're gonna help out with the fight. Shit is getting bad, but like you're just there. You're almost escaped, but then you start to feel that everything is quickly falling apart. Warrendell is over. The frost giants up next. Actually, that's interesting. No, the frost giants are not up next. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Let's have some more stuff happen. Do you guys feel like this combat doesn't have enough stuff going on yet? I don't feel like it has enough stuff going on. So, as you're waiting there, Warrendell, and you see that the other pack of frost giants are getting ready to like go engage on Livy, which would pretty much like be sealing the fate now that like most of the meat shields, as Warrendell probably looks at them, have now been like basically killed. It's just you and your party now, and Bjorn Hilda. You see a large towering figure standing at the top of the dry dock, looking out below. Livy, as you're picking yourself up and Bjornhilda's fighting ferociously with Stolvad, you hear doof, doof, doof. You look to your side thinking, oh God, it's another one of them. I'm dead. And you look and you see a glowing great axe. A massive glowing great axe that's glowing this blue. And you look up. And you see your buddy Harshnag standing beside you. He looks into his brother's face. The Jarl looks absolutely disgusted when he sees him, and a monologue between the two brothers. I guess that's not a monologue. What do you call a conversation in monologue format? A duologue between the two brothers commences as the Jarl looks in utter disgust, scars across his face, his axe covered in blood from the dragon. Brother, you dare show your face in our haven, and in allegiance with these puny weaklings. You are a disgrace. It disgusts me that you are here, and that your blood will fall on our mighty homeland soil. But I will destroy you, brother, for you are sick, and I will make sure your sickness does not spread. Harshnag calmly looks over to you, Livy. Are you all right?
It's like, oh goodness, she looks probably black and blue all over, and she's like, still standing.
Gather the rest. It is time to go.
Yeah. Yep.
But you kind of like scurry behind him. He looks at his Jarl. All the other giants have now stopped as Harshnag, to them, Harshnag the exiled, has came back to his homeland. The quietness kind of fills this now battlefield as the two brothers look at each other. Harshnag to Strolvad. You call me weak, but you prey on the helpless. You call me a disgrace, but you fight with no honor. A sickness indeed has spread, but it is to all of giant kind, a blindness and an ignorance to life, which has forsaken you all in the eyes of our God. You are the sick one, my brother, and I am here to end your suffering. And he pulls out his massive axe girt that he's had to his side and jumps off the side of the Jaidoc and engages with the Jarl, swinging furiously. Their two great axes kind of collide as sparks come down, and he falls on top of him, swinging. Him not having the water walk will eventually fall into the water, but he's going to land hopefully 2 good strikes on his brother first. The first strike landing true. The second strike landing true too. So that is nice. A massive cut as the first strike kind of lands against the great axe, sparks flying, parries him back. The Jarl pushes his brother up against the side of the wall with his great axe, pinning him before he falls into the water. But Harshnag kind of elbows down his arm and then swings again into the side of the face of the Jarl, cutting him bad on his already scarred eye. Dropping Harshnag, he sinks into the water momentarily. That now puts up Octavios. Octavios, who potentially is AFK. He's there. The dock has now completely begun to fall. You hear it collapsing from all sides of you. You see the towering force of Harshnag jump up from over top of you and sink down onto the Jarl, engaging in combat. And then that's when you hear the groaning of the dry dock. It's finally given out and starting to fall all around you. What are you going to do?
I will scramble and run the fastest you have ever seen Octavius run on these falling boards to whatever I can get my hands onto so that I can get to where I need to be on the boat.
Sounds like an athletics check to me. Agreed. That's an athletics check, or you want to try something else?
No, I'll just do that.
Okay. I'll tell you your skill.
No mods.
12 athletics for you is a 14. You're running as the dock's kind of falling out from underneath you. You're trying to pick yourself up. You climb up to one of the giant staircases and you pick yourself up. And just as you're on it and rolling over, you feel it starting to give away again. And you pick yourself up once more, just sweating profusely in this cold. And you jump, and the dock completely falls from underneath you. And you grab onto the side of the ledge of the dry dock, and your body kind of thuds into the side of the cliffside, and you're just hanging there. 14 isn't enough to clear it, but you didn't fall in. You're hanging on for dear life. Next up.
I will just use...
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay. Next up is Neil Rond, who has been waiting for an opportunity to find sunlight alone and has done so. He has his wand ready. Are you there, Corey, to engage with this mighty wizard? Because I'm going to need you to do some things. All right, Corey, if you can hear me, give me... Oh, is he there? Maybe there. Give me a dexterity save, Corey, if you can hear me. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Yep.
Actually, no, that's a lie. Actually, he can't do that. Yeah, sorry, because that would be right on top of himself. He is going to bonus action Misty Step away from you. And then I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw. I lied.
Yeah. Whatever.
Big number. It's not that big. 16.
You saved. As you're like punching, knock a tooth out, shield engages as you feel Arcane kind of block the punch. Nilron says, "You've made a terrible choice. Now you must die." And then poof, he smokes away. He's 30 feet away from you, and he kind of steps back. And then he pulls out his wand that he's had ready, and he lifts it up into the air. And you see this plume of fire start to grow on it, grow and grow and grow. And then he flicks his wrist, and this fireball explodes out of the wand that he is currently wielding. And you take half of 33 damage. I'll let you take that as that ends his turn. Next up is where are we? Livy.
That makes Sunlit fall down.
That makes Sunlit go down?
Oh.
Okay, Sunlit drops
you hit me for
unconscious.
29 the first time, dude.
Sunlit is unconscious. Or on the verge of death.
And over in the middle of nowhere by herself.
Yep.
Great. I suppose then for Livy, taking in Harshnag's direction, wants to go gather up the others, but more importantly, she's going to grab one of those greater healing potions and pop one because she's staggering. And so that's a 44. If I click on the dice down here in the bottom left hand, if I click it 4 times, will it give me 4 dice to work
So you gotta pick up the dice with the left trigger and then right click as many times to add a dice.
And so we're gonna toss those in there and see. Cool, 7 plus 4 for 12. That's better than nothing. And yeah, she'll continue to try and wrangle up others, like calling out to them, like, guys, get up here. She can do a perception check. She'll see if she can spot everybody.
All right, give me a perception check.
Cool. Skills, perception. Not very good because her head's still spinning as the potion slowly works its magic.
Too much chaos is going on. And I believe Warren is not. He's AFK. I had to go pick someone up, so he's not up anyways. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right. So with that, you kind of heal, and you're looking for everybody. You see, you don't see anybody actually with a 7. It's like, where did all my friends go?
Her head's probably still swimming, as she's just downing this. Vision's blurred, but it's clearing up. She'll probably have better luck next turn.
And the fight between the Jarl and his brother Harshnag begin as Harshnag is in the water. A hand kind of reaches up to grab him, and the Jarl jumps to the cliffside, kind of like putting himself away, and then swinging downwards, he misses. And then Harshnag kind of follows out of the water onto the side of the cliff and will charge into him. The Jarl swinging again with his second attack, and holy god, it's 2 5s in a row. Both misses. As the brother, the Jarl already being pretty badly injured, is being out-muscled by his stronger brother. Next up, we have Bjornhild. Let me see something. Perception, Bjornhilda. Okay, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Try that again. There we go. She's fighting, and then as the two brothers jump over and engage in herself, she's kind of left obviously standing there with no one to fight, and she's looking around, and in the corner of her eye, she sees a plume of fire. And then looking over to that direction, you hear her yell out again, Skavella Zimne Zavara, but in a panicked worry. And she looks back to you, Livy, and says, I will meet you on the boat. Go. And she jumps down and starts climbing down the side of the cliffside. She seems to be on some kind of mission. All right. Next up is our good buddy Sunlit, who is having a great time. Gonna need a death save from you there, friend. Emphasis on the word friend, remember. Ooh, close to a crit. One save for you. As you're lying there on the ground, you hear Niran laughing and saying, "You could have done this the easy way. You could have just gave me the talisman. Now look at you. You dare oppose me. You dare oppose the Kraken Society. Foolish tabaxi." And you hear the crunching of the footsteps from underneath him. Warren, not back yet, I'm pretty sure. So he gave me control. Sees the Tiger Clan leader kind of climbing down. I'll give him a perception check for you, Corey. Just because it's maybe what he would do. I don't really know. I don't like being in control of other people's characters, but I have to do it. So perception check. 21. So as a group, I'll let you guys decide. Do we think that Warren Dell notices the fireball from behind with a 21, or does Warren Dell continue on his path? Everyone can you're all muted, first of all. This is very quiet. I feel like I'm just the only person talking. But
because you are. But as a note earlier, it says, this is a note, Corey. Warren is sticking close to Sunny till we get out of here. ASAP.
True. Yeah, so that's a good point.
When I leave, I have to go.
Okay. And what do you say, Dan? That's actually a very good point.
I was just going to say with the 21, I think you would at least see the fire.
Yeah. So what I'm picturing happening, because he did say that he was running before he left, and then he wrote that he gets to the dry dock and he's like waiting, and he probably half expects that you're already there, and then he doesn't see you. And he looks up and he sees the barbarian leader coming down, and she's on some kind of mission, and she looks back, and it's obviously a pretty decent amount of distance now, and he just kind of mumbles to himself, like just a curse word, like fucking Sunlit or something like that. And he knows something's wrong, so he's going to start backtracking, looking for you. That puts up next in the lead Harshnag, who has picked himself out of the water now. His beard is kind of freezing as he picks himself up. He doesn't care about the cold. He's immune to it. But as he climbs out of the water and his brother's trying to land these attacks on him as he has water walk casted on him, he's able to walk on the water, and he's harrying Harshnag, who is actually having to swim. But Harshnag picks himself up, grabs onto the axe, and kind of climbs out, and then finds himself on the cliffside. He now level with his brother, who's walking on the water. He's standing on the side of this like ice that's hanging out from the ledge, and he is going to swing at the Jarl Strolvad twice with his battle axe Gert. The first attack coming in and hitting powerfully, and then the second attack again striking down or striking into Jarl. The glow blue humming of his magical axe cutting into his brother with ease. The Jarl, badly injured from Livy, seems to be no match right now as he's pummeling into his brother, and he's saying that, "I did not want to kill you, brother. I did not want to kill you, brother. But you've left me no choice. You attack my friends. You fight for what is wrong. You think you fight for honor, Strolvad. But all you do is prey on the weak. Do you not see your foolish ways?" And he cuts into his brother, and Jarl, clearly being outclassed, saying again back in Giant that he is the one who is foolish, Harshnag. You align yourself with the weak. How can you ever be strong when you defend those who cannot defend themselves? And he tries to swing his axe, but Harshnag is able to parry it. Next up, Octavius. You're on the ledge of this dry dock, hanging as you hear this fight going on below.
Yeah, I'll do what I can to climb up the ridge.
All right, you can just pick yourself up now. You kind of just spend half your movement picking yourself up.
All right, so I'm at the top. Do I see Livy?
Yep, Livy has kind of tucked herself away into the dry dock. She's like looking back waiting for you. And as you pick yourself up, you guys' eyes kind of meet.
She would immediately, like, if he hadn't heard her before, she's like, Harshnag wants us to get the others.
Yeah, so Octavius would look around for Warren and Sonny.
Perception check.
I'd like to do a perception. 11.
No sign of either of them. You haven't seen them in a while. Oh wait, 11 plus your shit. Give me a second here. I forgot that you don't have your character sheet in front of you. 11 plus 3, so 14. You're looking around and you see Warrendell. He's like below the cliff where the dry dock's ladder was kind of like leading up, but now that it's been broken away by the giants, you see him like about 30 feet down below, and he is actually moving away from you guys along like this icy cliff.
How many giants do I see?
How
many giants do I see other than Harshnag and Strovet?
A total of pretty much the full force is left, but they have like basically stopped to watch this fight go down between the Jarl and his brother. And you see 17 of them, I guess, is still left.
You're gonna grab Livy and we'll start heading to wherever Harshnag told us to go.
All right, so you start heading through the dry dock where the giants have been working on this other massive great ship, but all that's done of it so far as it's hoisted up on this giant crane is like the wooden frame of the boat. It's still in the very early phases, and you see all the barbarian tents that they had to sleep in. They were enslaved by the giants. You're kind of like going with her and just telling her that the others will catch up, making your way through this dry dock, and out the other end you see below, about 40 feet down, these icy staircases that kind of zigzag down. They're giant size. You see the giant docks where all the punts, these giant canoes, are waiting for you, and that's pretty much the end of your turn. At that point, unless you have an action. Sorry.
Other than
what do you got?
No, I just looked at Livy and I'd say get to the boats as fast as you can. I'm going to see if I can help Warren, and then I'll just turn around, and that'll be the end of the turn.
All right. Nilaron is up next, and he is going to walk towards Sunlit, laughing and ranting about how he is powerful and how foolish you could be to think you can beat someone as powerful as me. I will take that talisman, and I will find where the Wing of Winter is. And with that, we shall make sure that no harm comes to the world, that we will rule with it.
Yeah, I like that she fell on her back, so he'd have to move her.
Yeah, and he kind of pushes her over. You're unconscious, so it's not like the biggest deal. He's not the strongest of wizards, but he does. And he pulls out a dagger, kind of like teases it across your unconscious face, just like really being a dick, but you're unconscious. You don't really know what's going on. And he starts to cut at the talisman. That ends his turn. Livy, you're up next. Octavius tells you he's going to see if he can find the others and that you should get down to the docks. What do you think about that, Livy?
Livy thinks that she's going to try and at least help out Harshnag. Sure, I'm going to keep peeking at the Jarl, but hopefully from a better vantage point that he won't be able to get to her as easily.
All right, so I guess we should have probably thrown that to you before we let Octavius kind of guide you through the dry docks. Would you just have told them no, you're not leaving then?
Yeah. She'd like, I'll go when everyone is here and ready to go. And so, because she's like, I'm going to keep aiming at that guy.
All right, go ahead.
Octavius would just remind her not to interfere in the fight, because since all the other giants are watching now, it's a fair fight. But if you interrupt, they might take that offensively.
Good point. And she'd kind of and she's like, well, I'll be the eyes up here then. You can go find them, but if it gets ugly, at least I can lend some. Then I guess you'll just ready an action to if Tavius or the others look like they're in trouble to fire away. any threats, or if any try to overwhelm Harshnag while he's squaring off with the Jarl, then she'll fire at them, whichever happens first, essentially.
All right. So as you're ready your bow and you're looking down at the fight between the Jarl and Harshnag, the Jarl now has like one arm that's like basically limped and like completely bummed, and he's holding the other great axe, and he's kind of like dragging the great axe around now. He's badly injured and cut, and he's like circling around Harshnag, and he looks out to him and says, "You're no brother of mine." Speaking in giant, obviously, so only those who understand. I say that all the time. I don't know why I keep saying that, but and then he says, "My brothers, you all around me, you are my true brothers. Do not let this exiled traitor come into our land and disgrace it. Help me destroy him." And he kind of goes in and tries to attack. Pulling over another great axe and swinging. Jesus, he actually hit that time. All right, so Harshnag takes some damage, and as he looks around and he laughs, "You think you're more powerful than me? Even in this weakened state, I can still destroy you. Help me, my brothers." None of the other giants move as they're all kind of watching this fight go down, wanting to see it through. The battle between the two heirs to the Jarldom. Strovad is nerved by this as he realizes that they may be questioning his loyalty. "What are you all doing? You would trust this traitor?" And he swings again. Natural one. His axe flies out of his hand as Harshnag grabs onto his wrist, squeezes the axe, drops out of his hand, and he throws his brother away. "Strovad, this is over. Let us go." Spins around, trying to like scurry over to his axe, but Harshnag imposes himself in between this. "Never. I would never submit to a traitor like you." Next up is Bjornhild, who lands jumping off the cliff, kind of climbing halfway down, and then jumping the rest. She makes a quick acrobatics check, somersaulting and landing gracefully, and then kind of lands actually in front of Warrendale, who's been like backtracking, looking for Sunlit, and she starts running ahead of him. Sunlit, another death save.
I already did on accident.
Okay,
so
what'd you roll?
It was a 14.
14?
Saved it.
2 successes. You kind of like in and out of consciousness. You feel yourself badly burned. You hear Neuron just going into like the spiel of like madness about how he's gonna take the Ring of Winter, and him and his master will use it appropriately, and will rule the world in a way that is best in the Frost Giant. It's been so annoying to be under the Frost Giants for so long, and he's been waiting for a clue, and this talisman is the perfect way to please my master. And he just like kind of starts laughing to himself and just like, "Oh, I'm so happy that you all came along." And he's almost cut it now, but Warrendale's up next, who is going.
All right.
Go ahead.
I know you can't do really anything when you're unconscious, but can she maybe with a convulsion kind of roll back onto her back again?
Not really.
It was just an idea.
It's a good try. It's a good try, but no, you're pretty bummed out. Warrendale now looking. He's gonna perception check again. Oh my god, he rolled a 10. I'm sorry, but he's still backtracking as he does so. He's not full on like sprinting, and Bjornhilda is sprinting, but he's looking for you. Next up is Harshnag. Calls out to his brother. "Strovad, don't do this. We are blood. I don't want to finish you. We fought a good fight, and the winner has been determined. Now step down, and I will leave this place, and you'll never see me again." To which Strovad charges in and just, "Never! I'll never surrender to the likes of you!" And then Harshnag chops into him, this time actually missing, but then he spins around with his second strike and kind of like, oh, perfect. A natural 20. He like underhand uppercuts with the axe as Strolvad is coming in trying to tackle him with his back down. And he lands a absolutely devastating 79 damage.
Oh my God.
As Strolvad is yelling out, I'll never surrender to my traitorous brother. And then funk, you hear this sickening sound as the uppercutted axe cuts right into the center of Strolvad's face, and then he's cut short, not able to finish his sentence. You just see thick blood kind of spilling down the side of the glowing blue great axe that Harshnag wields. Strolvad's body becomes limp and then falls to the ground. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry that you were sick. I'm sorry that you were blind. Rest now. Go before Trim, our god, and redeem yourself. And he rolls his brother into the water, and Strolvad sinks down into the darkness. Next up is Octavius.
Octavius would see that, and it would, as he was trying to search for Warren or sign of Sonny, he would see out of the corner of his eye the battle ending and Harshnag standing there. He would just kind of stop and look in disbelief and wonderment for a second. And then a wave of calming would come over him, and he would realize that there might be safety and light at the end of this tunnel after all. And he'll run up to the top of the cliff, and he'll use his perception, and he'll look out, and he'll try to see his friends if he can.
All right, give her a perception check.
That's a nat one.
Wow. Yeah, you look out into the massive lake canyon that Svardberg finds itself in, and even though you spent 3 turns looking for your friends, apparently you have no clue where Warrendale and Sunlit are.
There's a lot of snow.
All right.
You want to do anything else? I'm not going to say that's your action. If you want, like, you can heal somebody if you want. You can do whatever you want. Livy still has a cut on her. She's pretty badly beat up still. I'm trying to think of who else would be beat up right now. That's pretty much
and she'd get full healing because she hasn't taken damage yet.
It's true. Yeah, because you have that beacon of whatever it's going to. Unless you want to just do nothing dance, fine. I'm just saying you don't have to waste your entire turn just perception checking and failing.
No, I will. I'll use my preserve life, and I'll heal Livy for as much as she needs, up to 25 points.
Okay. So take whatever you need, Livy, and tell Dan what you took, and you feel this. You feel the healing rays of Ilmater wash over you as Dan washes away your suffering.
I feel like there'd be a like mild reluctance, like you already take on so much pain. You don't need to worry. I can handle it, but thank you. Still, thank you.
Neilron. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Have you been able to spot the others? No. Oh, that's not good.
Awkward. Maybe they're in trouble. Pan over to Neilron.
Damn, gusts of wind just keep getting in my eyes.
Pan over to Neilron, who's laughing maniacally. Oh, one more cut and I'll have this talisman. Oh, I'm so happy that you all came here. And then you feel it just give away, and he starts to pick it up. And he's not as strong as you, Sunlit, so he just kind of and is carrying onto it. Farewell, Tabaxi. May I not see you in the afterlife. And then he is going to slowly start walking away with the talisman.
Oh, snaps.
Next up is the Frost Giant pack. So now that they've been kind of standing around watching the fight between the two brothers go, now that the winner has been decided, it's a moment of like awkward silence as everyone looks away. It looks around, not sure what to do. And then you hear Nerth speak up. Harshnag may be the winner, but he is still a traitor. Nerth is next in line to be Jarl. Cast this traitor out. Let him live for his victory, but I am now Jarl. Jarl Nerth. The other frost giants don't really look like they know what they want to do. Livy, you're up next.
So good. Sorry.
I think Livy's going to also be doing perception, and she didn't even like. Did you see which way they went, or
yeah, give a perception check now. Dan's rolled like under 10 3 times in a row now. Let's see if Livy's perception.
And now that she's feeling better,
you can at least see Warrendell, who is backtracking. You can see Bjornhilda, who's like sprinting ahead of him. And then as you're kind of following where they're going, you see like a weird burn mark in the snow, but it's really far away. It's hard to make out.
Yeah, with that, she kind of hand shoulder on Tavius and move. There, I see Warrendell, and she'll start heading off towards him to try and alert and be like, hey, come on. But she'll also be keeping an eye open in case things get a bit crazy again, too. Pew, pew.
All right. So yeah, if you want to go to where Warrendell is, you actually have to like climb down the now like cliff that the dry dock is on, which is about a 30-foot climb. You don't really have a climbing speed or any gear, so it would probably be a pretty tricky climb.
Dang it. Oh, quick go do actions, Mary, just in case there's something. Dancing lines message. Yeah, there's nothing in here like message to be like, Warrendell, come back or whatever. Where's yeah, I think with that, probably look at Tavius and be like, do you have any rope or because I can see Warrendell over there. And hopefully he knows where Sunny is.
All right. So as you say that to Octavios, the third pack of giants, now hearing Nerth's claim to Jarldom, is kind of mumbling to themselves and saying that Harshnag fought bravely. Nerth's an idiot. There's no way that he could rule over us. And the other pack that was beside them says, well, Nerth was the cousin to Strolvad, and technically Harshnag has been, and they just go into like this political debate on like who should actually be Jarl, and Nerth is like claiming that he should be Jarl because he was the cousin of Strolvad, and Harshnag has been exiled. Harshnag hasn't said anything yet. Bjornhilda, being the quick barbarian that she is going to dash and put herself pretty close towards where Sunlit has fallen, and she is yelling out like whooping kind of cries as she sees in the distance that the wizard is like making away with something, and that Sunlit has fallen to the ground. Sunlit, I need another death saving throw. You've been banging it out so far. Wouldn't it be unfortunate if you rolled a 1 now?
Oh gosh.
Oh, 1 fail. Warrendell, welcome back. What was the last part that you remember leaving off?
You will that on me, Chris, you bastard.
Just so I can recap where you are, because I think a lot has happened since you left.
So I just made it to where Harshnag showed up.
Okay, so, but did you make it to where Nilron battled with Sunlit, or no?
Well,
okay.
I knew he was there, but that was it.
So a fight broke out between Nilron and Sunlit. Sunlit dodged in and started punching. Nilron was able to cast shield and block an attack. Misty stepped backwards and used his wand of fireballs to knock unconscious Sunlit. He started to try to loot the talisman, which he wants to give back to his master. You made it all the way to the dry dock, to which when you weren't there, everyone said that you made a note that you were sticking close to Sunny when you came back. So I said, I'll give you a perception check, and if you roll high enough, you'll note that something's off. You rolled a 21. and notice that Sunlit isn't around and that he should have been here by now. So kind of like cursing and thinking that the cat probably got itself into a little more trouble, you've been backtracking. Bjornhilda, the tribe's leader, the queen, the white lioness, has like started yelling Scavella Zimne Zavira and running full tilt ahead of you towards something. You have no clue what she's fucking talking about, but she seems to be on the trail of something. And you've spent a couple of turns, like you're not running, but you're perception checking, trying to see if you see any signs of Sunlit. Now, completely free reign to whatever you want to do.
All right, so how far away am I from what I see? Dingleberry there running away with the talisman?
No, you haven't really made it that far since you're not since you don't really know the fight's going on.
Yeah.
You've kind of just been like slowly making your way around trying to look. It's up to you now if you like really get the sense that something's off and that you want to start hurrying. But you've only made it about a movement, 30 feet of backtracking so far.
Well, if I've seen the barbarian lady run past me and running that way, then yeah, I would probably start running and following her.
All right, give a run and give me a perception check.
Perception.
For what you actually missed is just everyone failing a bunch of perception checks to see if they notice where you guys are. You start running, and as you're following Bjornhilda, you see up ahead in the distance, quite far away from you, about 100 feet. Maybe not quite 100, like I'll say probably around 90 after I'm trying to factor in how far you move, 30 feet minus. So yeah, about 90 feet. I burnt kind of like fireball, like plume, like just burnt snow, if that makes sense, like blackened snow. A figure lying like clumped down in the pile, and then some like figure kind of like waddling, like it's carrying something heavy and like walking away.
All right. Was that just a move action, or?
Yeah, that was your move in perception. Actually, I presume that you dashed. So
Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
If it's in 90 feet.
Actually, sorry. So 90 wouldn't be a dash. So yeah, you still have an action if you want, but you're 90 feet away.
Do I see him with a talisman?
Yeah, I'll say that you could put it together, I guess, with an 18.
Want me to make like a okay?
Yeah, with an 18, we'll say you put it together. 90 feet away.
Well, I guess if I still have an action, yeah, I will. Let's go with. I'll use my chromatic orb, but I'm going to go with a thunder.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that totally sucks. So, yeah, running up, if I seen, this guy waddling away, obviously with the talisman and Sunny on the ground, I'd probably be able to connect kind of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You can see this bit of sound barrier kind of rocket off of him in the distance. Obviously that one missed, but might as well go all out. I'll use my 2 last bone thingy points, sorcery points, to make it a bonus action to try it one more time. And that would be my last spell. All right, 19 hit him.
So what does it look like as you're like charging it up and everything?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to stick with thunder. My hope here is, even if it doesn't necessarily totally just blast into him, maybe kind of shatter some of this ice or create a little bit of an avalanche, something to stop him. So you can see it's not so much the electricity that's going around him, but it looks like waves of heat almost rising off of me, and they all just rocket out like a sound wave across this past Brunhild over top of Sunny and just smash into the side of this like glaciery, snowy thingy that we're on.
So yeah, I'm trying to think how I would. Let me just read this actually. I feel like it's cheese, but at the same time, I don't know if I hate doing this to players, but I don't know if you would do it or not. You attempt to interrupt, blah, blah, blah. Creature that you see within. Okay, perfect. That answers that question. You hit him. Go ahead and do the damage.
Yeah, not bad.
Nice. Slams into his back, knocking him down to the ground momentarily. He picks himself back up, as it actually didn't knock him prone, but you did slam into the back. He's not dead, though.
No.
You can roll one more die with that lady's ability. All right.
I didn't know what was used, so.
Yeah, you could technically use Bjorn Hilda's ability if you want. Maybe her battle cry is like making you realize that this is pretty dramatic and you need to like help out your friend or something like
Is
that.
she the one going? She's the one
Yeah.
that's ahead of me anyway. Right?
Yeah, she's charging ahead towards the crumpled pile of burnt.
All right. Oh yeah. If it hasn't been used in it, she's right there. Then. Yeah.
All right, nice. Still alive and he's bloodied now. Actually. Okay. Anything else?
Did you drop the talisman?
Probably not dropping the talisman now. He's holding on
Okay.
to that pretty good.
Nope. That would be all I got left.
All right. The first pack of giants that were most loyal to the Jarl ready their weapons and say that they will never follow a ruler that has been exiled and that is weak. Harshnag aligns himself with the small folk. He is our enemy. Harshnag's turn stands there as all the giants debate on whether he should be leader or not. And he looks to them all and says, I will not be your king. I have no interest in following in your ways. My path has been chosen long ago when you threw me out. When my father threw me out and exiled me. I knew then that even though we are blood, we couldn't be more different. I have defeated your Jarl. We will leave now, and you will never see me in these lands again. Nobody else needs to die. To which Nerth and Broshin agree. Nobody else needs to die. Nerth will not let anyone die under his Jarldom anymore. It is settled. Nerth is now Jarl, and his rule will be long. Octavius, what do you got? We're coming to an end here.
I would, I would probably hear that as I was dashing towards Warren, and I would just yell from behind, "Hail Jarl Nerf! Hail Jarl Nerf!"
Give me a performance check.
Oh, that's a 16.
16 plus your performance 0. You hear a couple other of the Frost Giants join in and hail Jarl Nerth. You got at least half of them to be like, all right, Nerth might not be so bad. All right, Nilron up next. In the distance, he picks himself up looking back at the person who struck him down with a thunderbolt or a chromatic orb. And you're about 90 feet away, so you're pretty far away, but he says to himself that was a pitiful attempt. Weak sorcerer. I wish that I could destroy you right now. But unfortunately, I have better things to do. May I see you again? Come to this oracle. I'll finish you there. And he greater invisibility himself. Poof. Gone.
But it doesn't make the thing go invisible.
Yeah.
Anything they're holding.
Anything they carry. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
All right. Livy, you're up next. As what did you decide to do? Did you decide to climb down or not? You're muted.
I remember her pointing out Warndell to Tavios and
Yep.
And yeah, kind of surveying. And so
Oh yeah.
like
So,
jump down, she'd kind of be like, help.
Yeah, I forgot to let you answer that, Dan. Do you have a rope? Does Octavius have a rope to offer Livy?
Yep. Yes, I do.
All right, so he
Yes, I
throws
do.
you a rope and holds it for you to climb down.
Awesome. Then yeah, she would utilize that. And
All right. So yeah, you make your way down. It'll take you your full 30 movement to move down. Anyways, putting up next to make things kind of,
I
we're gonna
will use my other half of my turn if I'm able to do the double movement kind of thing. Like
yeah, dash. Yeah, dash. That's fine. Yeah, so you start dashing, and now I'm gonna say that we jump out of combat here because it's kind of stupid to go in initiative for this at this point. We're just gonna go, and Bjornhilda runs up to Sunlit, not really worried about the wizard's shenanigans at all, and he drops to her knees and starts speaking in her barbaric language. It almost sounds like a mad woman mumbling, but something that she repeats over and over again is the Scavella Zimne Zivera. And she's looking to the sky, and she's actually cradling Sunlit. Sunlit, make another death saving throw. Two fails, two successes. Warrendell, now that has done, you finally start running, and you see that Bjornhilda is cradling a very unconscious and burned Sunny. What do you do as she holds him? And she's just over and over again repeating this. Scavella Zimne Zavera. Scavella.
Let me see what I got for my medicine skills here. Not very nice. All right. Well, I'll run up to where he's at as well, kind of looking over this. She seems to be mumbling this too, Sunny. Like, that's what she's calling Sunny, I'm assuming.
What's that, sorry?
She's basically saying this to Sunny, right? Or looking at it saying, okay.
Maybe praying, maybe something. You can give maybe an intelligence or insight if you want, but it might not.
I'll just look over Sunny, and at least I don't have any kind of healing abilities, but I can at least maybe try something. So I'll just do a medicine check. And
she hisses at you as you step near and say, "Do not," she says, "do not interfere in the great tiger's trial.
Then she will die.
She is facing the great trial. She is on the great hunt.
Okay.
To interfere with this would doom her." To which you take that as you will. As you look at her, there's no doubt in your mind that she is on the fucking brink of death.
This lady seems to know what she's talking about, or kind of
you can make an insight check.
Something she thoroughly believes, anyway.
Yeah,
I'm assuming so.
I imagine that this sounds like complete and utter bullshit to Warrendell regardless, but this is a very big and strong woman, and she seems very she definitely believes what she's talking about.
Yeah, it's not like I have much left. So Sunny's impressed me before. Yeah, I will.
All right.
Trust her.
Harshnag starts rallying the others and getting ready to go, trying to track down everybody. Octavius, just to make it dramatic, we'll say that everyone eventually makes their way towards where Sunlit is, kind of like full on sprinting as she's rocking back and forth. And you all have this same kind of choice to make. Bjornhilda looks adamant, like she will fight you if you try to touch Sunlit right now. She is saying that Sunlit is Scavella Zimne Zavira, the great winter tiger. And if you interfere with her hunt right now, then she will not allow it. You're an enemy of her. But you also know that Sunlit is on the verge of death.
I'll just say to her, I am the priest of our group. Let me at least pray for her while she's on this hunt.
And she agrees that everyone can pray for the great winter tiger. And she starts saying that phrase, Scavella Zimne Zavira.
All right, so what's my cantrip to save people? What's that called?
Oh, she's not going to let you touch her. You got to stay away.
Well, I got to pray for her, though.
Don't you have healing word?
It's up to you.
Well, I
Like
can do
you
that.
can definitely heal her and say that this bitch is crazy, but she looks like she will fight you, and she will say that it is the Winter Tiger's destiny. She will either be hunted or the hunter.
Okay.
She chases
I'm gonna
death,
kneel down.
the ultimate prey, the ultimate
I'm gonna kneel
hunt.
down 10 to 15 feet away from Sunny, and I'll start to embrace my hands. I'll lower my head, and then I will finger the ring that Livy has recently given me, and I will use the power of the ring to heal Sunny for 25
Hey,
hit points.
Wait. No, let this happen. Let it happen. Let it happen, please. I want to see what happens.
All right.
It's up to you,
I will
Dan.
do-
You can do it, but
I'll do nothing.
you do nothing. Okay. All right. Then, as it's almost kind of turned into this ritual at this point now. She holds you in her arms and she's rocking back and forth and she's looking to the sky and she occasionally reaches down and she grabs snow and kind of like puts it on your face and then momentarily she like drops you down to the ground and then starts to like bury you, Sunlit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to roll first, or do you want to describe what Sunlit is going through right now as she is on the great hunt?
I have an idea. So it's kind of what we've already talked about with what's going to happen with her.
Yep.
But I saw it kind of different. But hey, this is cool. I'm gonna roll first because it doesn't fucking matter. Come on, big number. Yeah. So, all right. So she is in that place between life and death. And while she's in that place between life and death, she sees. Let's name my notes real fast. Father Henrik in her vision. And Father Henrik, he was the father of Lathander. And also Selene and Soon. The three gods that the way of the sun soul follow. But he loved Lathander the most because he really was the god of the sun. We need the god of the moon, the goddess of the moon, and her twin sister, who is also kind of the goddess of the sun, but a little bit trickier. And she sees Father Hendrik, and he is calling her, it seems like. Much as he did when she was studying there in Waterdeep underneath him. And he's calling her to a book. No, come read this. This is something you have to know. There is, as you've been told, there is a prophecy that says that there will be a white tiger or a white cat that saves many of these things. You're the only cat that's ever been over here that I've ever seen that wants to study this. There, Sonny. You can believe this is you or not, but I believe one day it will be shown to you. And she starts to feel the packing of snow on top of her. And she's starting to come to consciousness, knowing that she didn't die. Because at the very end of it, Father Henry says, "It's true." And she wakes up and then starts shivering like crazy. Now, I'm assuming that cold resistance wouldn't be like snap turn off, right?
Correct.
Okay. So she's laying there, and she kind of pops up out of the snow. If you guys, I know if you watch wrestling or if you did, kind of Undertaker style, just like straight sit up. and kind of looks around, and there's the large barbarian woman over the top of her, still chanting that gibberish shit. And she looks up to her, and she goes, "Did you do this to me?"
She looks to you and says, "No, you are the great tiger. You are the winter tiger. You've done this yourself. You've hunted death, and you've come back. Praise Skavella Zemne Zavara. Praise the great winter tiger." And she looks to you all like she's in the presence of a god, basically, to her.
Yeah. And she kind of turns over and gets to her knees. And she looks to the woman and she goes, "You follow the god of the thunder then as well a bit? Or some of these things? Because that wouldn't make any sense for us to have a prophecy that sounds very similar to what you're talking of. Did you know this was going to happen?"
She would smile and say she did not know it was going to happen, but she's seen you black as night, stricken down, and returned as the white great tiger that the tiger clan worships. We believe that the winter tiger is the greatest hunter in all of the dales, the tiger god, tiger who hunts, who does not need night to hunt. Even in the day, even in the middle of the light, when the sun is at its highest peak, the winter tiger always finds its prey, even if that prey is death. I did not know if you would die, but I knew that if you came back, that you are destined for greatness.
"Well, I have." And she puts her hand on her head and then looks over her shoulder to see what's behind her, and it's all of her friends.
Yep, everyone's kind of standing around you, and then you like snap to like, holy shit, we're in the middle of a fucking giant war right now.
Yeah.
And as you look around,
What's going on? Wait, no. Okay. And she very quickly kind of turns into Sunny. That the
and it's cold as
neurotic-
shit now. It
Yeah,
didn't snap
yeah.
off right away, but now it just snapped off, and you are
Well,
fucking cold.
Yeah, and her, her Yeti coats are on the ground, so she picks it up and puts it back on. And immediately kind of feels the comfort of that. And
Harshnag saunters over as you're kind of collecting yourself. You see that there's a bunch of frost giants with their weapons ready.
No, listen. We came here for no reason now. That fucking the wizard. He cut it off.
Does not matter. We must go now, or the giants will kill us.
But we need to. Then this was all for nothing, Harshnag.
We are alive. We know where the oracle is. If that man has the talisman, then he should only be going to one place.
And I will kill him when I find him. You know that, Harshnag.
That is what must be done. But we must leave now, or no one. The only people who will be killed is us. We are not welcome here. We have slayed their king and disgraced their homeland. I may not believe in their ways, but I respect their strength. Since I've won in combat, or since we won in combat, he says, they have given us passage. Let's be thankful for that and leave.
Then we should be gone like we should have been in the beginning. Are you coming with us?
To Bjornhilda or to Harshnag?
Yeah, the tiger goddess.
As much as I hate to say this, and I hope that she was going to die, she says that she will follow the great winter tiger.
I got a leash. Nice. And yeah, so she looks at her friends and she goes, thank you for coming back for me. I'll tell you a very long story about what happened to me here. Very shortly. But I think he's correct. We need to get to these boats and leave.
Livy will offer a hand to Sunny to help her.
All right. And you guys walk away through the ramshackled and destroyed Svartberg down to the docks. You get on your punts and you sail out into the sea of the moving ice. Somehow alive, although the goal, the talisman, the lens of the eye, stolen. It's kind of a sour victory. And you sail away into the never-resting icebergs that are caught by the current in the icy cold winds of the Icewind Dales.
Hey, we fly that flag, right?
What's that?
We fly that sail.
And it's around an hour or more into it that the flag does attune, which next session we will discover what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
In the
and
distance,
I got a thing that that we'll find out about it next session as well. So
in the distance, very far, you see kind of black shadows in the sun high up in the sky, 3 small wingspans that look like just flecks as something is flying north towards the spine of the world. And that is where you also sail. And that's where we're in the session.
very cool.
Peace. All right. Thanks for watching, anybody. Thanks for playing, guys. Cool session. And until next time.